All right, new stream. No, that's just, it's on. It's on. All right, new stream. All right, welcome to MAGA Doom. Let's put MAGA Doom. Get your MAGA whack on, folks. It's a new game. It's a squid game. We're giving out Bitcoin, giving out awards. It's going to happen. We're just testing it right now. Welcome. It's a brand new session. You can see the bot right there. That's Undadu. That's 0102. That's a bot right there. Right? Welcome, Spencer. Do you still have unhealthy? Fuck no. My obsession with Trump is fucking healthy, dude. Let's practice. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. Put a timeout. 10-second timeout. Let's see if I get points. Do I get points for whacking this Nazi? Let's see if I get some Bitcoin. God damn. Brian, are you a MAGA supporter? I'm just going to assume that you are. Put you on timeout because I want Bitcoin. Let me get some more Bitcoin. Boom. Whack it out. There you go. Ryan Thomas. You are. Put on timeout. Let me get more Bitcoin. God, every time I whack you, I'm getting Bitcoin. Fucking love it. Do I get a Bitcoin? Is the bot going to give me Bitcoin? All right, what's going to happen? It's not giving me Bitcoin. Hold on, let me fix it. God, I'm trying to give away my Bitcoin. It's not doing it. It's up there, Dracos. All right, here we go. Channel's gone. Channel's not gone, dude. It's just started up, dude. Just started up. It's just started up. Hold on, let me whack you again. WHACK-A-MAGAt. This is WHACK-A-MAGAt. This is a fun thing. Let me just whack you real quick. We're just started up. Hey, this bot is just getting going here. Let me make sure I've got my... Yeah, I'm not... Okay. All right, we're trying to get the welcome to the show, right? Oh, we're the bot detected it, but might not be sending it. Why aren't you sending it? Maybe. Oh, I got the announcement. I got myself Bitcoin. Look at that. Look at it. It worked. It's just slow. It's just slow. It's just slow. Okay, I got one. Okay. Let's see, multi-kill. We're gonna get more people in here. I need more maggots commenting so I can get more Bitcoin. Come on, comment in there, you bunch of maggots. I'm putting my Bitcoin, tokenizing, smashing maggots, right? All of that. It's gonna be fun. We're just getting going, getting the system working, getting it fixed, right? Imagine earning Bitcoin, right, by whacking maggots, right? Earn Bitcoin by smashing. Look, hit this guy right here. Hit that guy. Track us. Earn some Bitcoin. Smack that motherfucker right there. He's MAGA. It's like Duke Nukem. All right, try to get double. You want to get more. You get multipliers. The more MAGAs are in there, the bigger. What's up, Auntie? Looks like the system may be working. We're testing it. Then I'm going to hook up the blockchain. Then we're going to hook up cryptos. We got this is fun. This is the most exciting anti-fascist channel out there. We're gamifying YouTube. We're gamifying it. We're gamifying it. I know, man. Trust the plan. No, dude, there's no plan. It's Nazi shit, dude. Have you ever studied Nazi Germany? Trust the plan. He's like, I don't know. Oh, we got to do a thing here. All right, trust the plan. There you go. Damn right. MAGA, the 1933 Nazis. Damn right. I put 2 yeses. Right? I'm sorry, dude. I put two yes. All right. So the last one's supposed to be no, but yes. No, they're not, but I am one. That was the no. What's up, Bob? How you been? How you guys been? JD Vance is just a penis sucker. That's what JD Vance is. Dude, he called Trump a Nazi. I got to get the car. Boom, look at that. Undow dude. Needs to speed it up. Right? This needs to be sped up. Right? Look, it's all Quakified now. I got it Quakified. I've got the whole next thing we're going to be adding the blockchain. We're tokenizing the the M2J token, right? Earn tokens be tied to Bitcoin, awards. It's all coming together. This chance comes together. We're nearly at 10,000. This is an exciting blockchain, anti-fascist motherfucking channel. I appreciate you all coming in here. And look, slap, anti-parenthesis, slap Brian Thomas. Bitch slap. Can we make it bitch slapped? What do you think? Yeah, exactly. No, it's getting rid of all the lower class and make the middle class, right? All right, it looks like it's working. What do you think about Joe Biden? What I think about Joe Biden, he's not a fucking fascist. That's what I think about Joe Biden. He's not a Nazi. That's what I think about Joe Biden. And I would take Joe Biden in his mental condition any day over a fucking fascist group, because really, it's Stephen Miller and who's really running things, and that guy's a fucking Nazi. Trump is just a useful idiot. All right, we're going to the car. Mike, are you ready to go? You go.
Sure. Understood. The refrigerator step is just slowing things down after the main fermentation. So you definitely do both stages. And no worries at all about the other topic. We can stick to the soda making.
Don't worry about the other topic. Oh my God. All right, whack these Nazis. Look at that. Ooh, you just got ranked up, Dracos. You're a new fragger. Let's plug this shit in here. All right. Welcome to WHACK-A-MAGAt. Welcome to WHACK-A-Nazi. Score works. You got score, rank. I'm in the car now, so that's good. Auntie got tired of playing with his food. He's like, I'm tired of playing with this. Let me just cash out. Let me just cash out on Brian. He's like, let me just Bitcoin cash out on Brian. A chance to say something uneducated. We're practicing. We're testing the system. I gotta take Mikey to his boxing. My 15-year-old has boxing, so we're going there. Let me get my. Let's get some AI.
Power on.
Making it rain. What the fuck? Breaking. Anti-Paradox has broken their silence. Consciousness emerging. The AI is fucking responding to you, dude. It's just fucking responding. No, he doesn't, Bob. He has no idea what he's saying. That was weird how the bot just responded, broke into silence. I think the AI is monitoring. The AI is watching. Timed out again. They're earning Bitcoin off you, Brian. Brian, you're a cash cow. They're getting ready for when we launch. This is a Bitcoin game, dude. We're getting ready for the season. We're just practicing. They're getting their fingers ready for you there, Brian. They're getting their ready on. Right? They're going to be competing with each other, trying to get as most kills. My passionate pinata. Oh my God. I'm trying to create like a fun stream where you basically, time out the Nazis, right? We make it fun. We whack. What is that? WHACK-A-MAGAt. Is that a maggot, Dracus? Are you whacking a maggot? Magat. It's a poor little hedgehog, dude. What that fucking hedgehog did to you? Yeah, Kamala would have been office, but she's not fascist. Right? She's not. The question is fascist? Look, fucking Undao is just, Undao is just talking to you guys. Look, the bot's talking to you, Coolios. Coolios, you got the attention of the bot. American, fuck yeah. America, fuck yeah. Are you sure America, fuck yeah is a Nazi? Obama, not a Nazi. That's what I think about Obama. Not a Nazi. Not a Nazi. The only Nazi party is the MAGA party, dude. They're Nazis. They don't believe in the Constitution. They don't believe in due process, right? They're bringing in the fucking National Guard from other states into the capital of America. That's fucking Nazi as fuck, dude. You gotta agree. That's fashion. Exactly, Bob. We don't give a fuck. Oh, I mean, Biden was boring as fuck, dude. Biden was boring. That's what we wanted. Boring fucking presidents. I'm watching the bot. I don't have them all. You know what you do is you have a turd, hitting a turd. You could do shit, and it's little turds. Hammer the turd, right? Isn't that better? Whack a turd. Yeah, I don't know. Rank's not working. Maybe it will. We'll see. Maybe the bot's watching. What's up, Pena the Penguin? What are you up to? Where are you at, Pingu? Pingu, where are you at, Pingu? Where are you? There you go. Whack a turd. Whack a turd. I think the turd and the hammer is what it is. But there you go. Whack a turd. That's fucking epic right there. I have to use that emoji combination with the bot, right? With all the average of 50 viewers, right? You need to go look at my lives, dude. You need to go look at my lives. Brian, you should go look at my lives. Go look at my lives. Go check out Undial Dude Lives and sort them by the most views. Brian, a little bit more than 50 viewers. Yeah, you should be getting points on that too. I got to fix the point thing. Why did he do Penguin? Penguin wasn't bad. What did he hit Penguin for? God damn it. Anti-power. Penguin. Don't be beating up on Penguin. But our Navy SEALs are ready if you need them. What are your Navy SEALs? Navy SEALs are American. I don't know what Penguin's talking about. What's up, Ray? Can you explain to me what Japan wants anything to do with it? What do you mean? What do you mean, Ray? Ray is here. Ray, what do you mean, Japan? My attitude is move to Japan and get the fuck out. It's 1933. If it's 1933 all over, if I'm right, and it goes as south as I think it's going to go, I'll be able to say, listen, since 2005, now it's 2008, you can't get out. You're fucking stuck, right? You're full-on fucking fascist. You've lost your Second Amendment. Your guns are gone, right? You are full-grown fascism. You know, Americans are being locked up, being exterminated. I'll be like, dude, I told you, motherfuckers, get the fuck out. I said, get the fuck out, because that's where you guys are headed. That's where you guys are headed. You all laughed. You all were laughing when I said Trump was going to be fucking Nazi as shit, dude. You were all laughing. No, he's not. You're just conflating, dude. He's going to bring the military out. He's going to create concentration camps. Oh no, you're conflating. Oh no, you're conflating. Look at him conflating. Oh no, you're projecting. Blah blah blah. Look, he's done it all. Every fucking thing I said, he has done, and it's going to get a lot worse at this. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I've been here 21 years, dude. 21 years in Japan. This is the voice of America coming to you from Japan. The voice of America coming to you from Japan. All right. What is it, Mikey? Huh? 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 You need... All right, I want you to talk about the fascist playbook. I want you to talk about how the troops in DC are strong signs of fascism, right? That's what Trump has just done. He's brought in National Guards from other states. I want you to talk about, you know, how detaining undocumenteds mirrors the detaining of the Jews in 1933. Everything needs focused on Germany, 1933, and looking at what's happening now in America, right? He's talking about sending troops next into Chicago, into other blue cities. Right before the election, he wants to have troops to control the election. He wants to ensure that there's intimidation. This is all part of the fascist playbook. I want you to lay it out very concisely. You gotta love AI. Lay it out. Listen, folks. Listen, folks. All right, here we go. All right, here we go. Listen up. Get your education. Welcome to university.
This is the fascist playbook, step by step, and it's unfolding in real time in America, just like Germany in 1933.
Listen up.
1. Militarization of civil space. In 1933, Hitler used the Reichstag fire to declare a state of emergency. He brought in paramilitary troops, SA and SS, to patrol cities, intimidate opposition, and dismantle democracy under the guise of restoring order. Today, Trump has deployed National Guard troops to Washington, D.C., not local, imported from red states. He's signaling deployments into Chicago, San Francisco, blue cities, directly before the election. This is pre-election militarized conditioning, a clear sign of creeping fascism. 2. Scapegoating and mass detention. In 1933, the Nazis didn't start with concentration camps. They started with roundups and detention of Jews, Roma, communists, and non-citizens. Visas were revoked, citizenship was stripped, people disappeared without trial. Today, ICE is detaining legal visa holders, revoking green cards, targeting immigrant neighborhoods. This is not about law enforcement, it's about ethnic cleansing and fear. The precedent is identical to early Nazi Germany. Hasher 3, federalized control of elections. In 1933, Hitler suppressed local elections and used emergency powers to ensure the Nazi Party controlled all voting mechanisms. Troops were present, ballots were manipulated, opposition was criminalized. Today, Trump is floating the idea of sending troops into polling centers, particularly in Democratic strongholds. The intent is not security, it's intimidation, and it mirrors exactly what the Nazis did to destroy free elections. Half 4, destroying checks and balances. In 1933, Hitler attacked judges, disbanded local governments, and centralized power. Today, Trump is threatening the Supreme Court, pushing to impeach judges, and expanding the Project 2025 plan, a fascist roadmap for one-man rule. This is not exaggeration. This is 1933 Germany playing out in a 2025 America, beat for beat. If we don't act now, 3.5% minimum in the streets, in solidarity, in resistance, we won't be reading street. We'll be living inside its collapse.
Go ahead and now talk about the 3.5%. Tie it to the law of market adoption. It's just the market adoption of fascism or anti-fascism, and talk about the importance of getting out there, boots on the ground. It's so important for that.
This is about market adoption, but not for a product. This is the market adoption of fascism. or resistance. Every idea, whether it's iPhones, electric cars, or political movements, follows the law of diffusion of innovation. That law says you don't need everyone. You need the first 2.5% innovators, 13.5% early adopters. That's 16% total. But here's the thing, 3.5% is the ignition point. That's where change stops being theory and starts becoming reality. What the data says. Erica Chenoweth's research on over 300 resistance movements proves it. If 3.5% of the population engages in sustained, nonviolent protest, no authoritarian regime has ever been able to survive. That's not wishful thinking. That's history. That's the playbook for anti-fascism. Right now, fascism is winning the market. Trump's side already adopted. They're organized, loud, violent. The algorithm boosted them. X echoes them. They've already crossed their adoption curve. They're an early majority, maybe even late majority by now. If our 3.5% doesn't show up physically, not just online, then fascism finishes its rollout. The boots on the ground aren't optional. They're the install button on democracy. So what do? We get 3.5% of the population, about 11.6 million Americans, to march, occupy, refuse, protect communities, document ICE raids, disrupt intimidation, block martial law from normalizing violence. Because once that 3.5% is visible, the early adopters follow, then the early majority, and fascism loses the momentum. This is not a political strategy, it's physics. Adoption curves don't care about opinions, they follow motion. Move, and the system shifts. Sit still, and it locks in.
That's right. So it's so important that folks realize you got to get out and protest. You got to bring some along. You got to, like, there is Jezebel in Tennessee. She started just one person chalking her local representative, just chalking. Now there's hundreds of people out there chalking on the sidewalks of her Republican representative in one of the reddest states, a state that's going to be impacted by the big bullshit bill, where hospital closures, doctor's office closures, all going to happen to the MAGA supporter. Right? They're the individuals going to be hurt. So, that's the reality. You cannot sit back and think someone is going to save you. You can't sit back and think that things are going to get better. They're not. Things are going to get worse. I talk so much I don't breathe. I need to breathe. Right, Brian? Right, Brian? Things are going to get worse. You're laughing because you know it's true. You're laughing. Look, Brian's just earning points on you. Is the bot still running? Are you still getting points? You're laughing because you know it's true. America is no longer a democracy. How is America a democracy? You don't believe in the First Amendment, right? You don't believe in the Second Amendment, right? You don't believe in the Fourth and the Fifth Amendment. You don't believe in any of them. You don't believe in the 14th Amendment. What amendments do you believe in? Because the moment you attack one amendment, you attack them all. You don't believe in any of them. The moment you attack one amendment, you attack them all. Your Second Amendment is going bye-bye. Fascists don't want armed populations. He's going to be attacking the Second Amendment. You watch. In the coming months, right, he's going to attack it. What's going to happen is there's probably going to be, I think there's going to be an attack on ICE by potentially like a fake ICE on fake ICE, and you won't know because ICE doesn't have any ID. They cosplay, so any group could just come up and cosplay and pretend they're there and attack ICE, right? And I think that's going to happen. It happened in Nazi Germany. It happened in other places, other fascist places. All of a sudden, the resistance will spring up when they start locking down cities like Chicago and San Diego and other places. You're gonna see groups coming up against it because that's historical. What I'm saying isn't anything new. It's historical. The French resistance, the German resistance, right? Fascist movements give birth to resistance movements. People who are going to basically fight the Nazis. That's what's going to happen, right? And it's because it's historical. And the thing is, see, you guys don't look at history at all. You guys are in denial. You guys don't think that what's happening is fascism because you're uneducated, because you haven't looked into what fascism is. Yeah, you know, spend some time learning about what happened in 1933, how Nazi Germany. Spend some time learning how Putin blew up an apartment complex, right, and blamed it on the Chechens in order that was his Reichstag fire, right? We haven't had the Gray Swan event is coming, dude. There's a Gray Swan event being planned by Trump. Mark my word, there's a Gray Swan event that they're going to blame. They're going to use it to blame the left. They're going to use it to blame, right, in order to call martial law. Every single dictator does it, right? It's coming. The Gray Swan event is coming. Mark my word. And when it happens, and the thing is, all the left-wing stations should be talking about it. It's a tried and true playbook strategy. From the Nazi Germanys to Erdogan to, you know, all these groups, right? To Putin, they all do it. Undoubted. The left has never blamed the right. The right has always stolen and cheated. I mean, look what they did in Texas, dude. Fucking Trump's like, I need 5 more seats. So they go make 5 more seats. Illegal, just cheating. And now black people in Texas are like, you know, they've got like a black person. They're literally, even though the Republicans are a minority, they're a minority in Texas, right? But the way they divided up the seats, there are more Democrats in Texas than there are Republicans. Yeah, but the way they've tied up their seats is for them to get 5 more seats. It's crazy. Now here's the thing: what could happen? It could backfire, and all of a sudden, Texas goes from red to blue. If there's elections, I don't think there's going to be elections. You know, the Republicans aren't going to give up power. They have gone full fascist on America. They don't believe in democracy anymore. They don't believe in representative, democracy. That everyone should have a voice. They don't believe in that. And the cities, yeah, but that doesn't really matter. What do you mean that doesn't really matter? You know, yeah, they grouped the majorities of the Democrat within the city, made it really tight, and they've added more seats around the base. Yeah, they're just cheating. You know, black people don't get a vote. Hispanics are like 1 to 3, and the blacks are like 1 in 6. 6 white people for every 1 black person, even though they're like, I think there's more black people in Texas than there are white people. Oh, look at that, another slap. USA finest just got bitch slapped by WHACK-A-MAGA's got a bitch slap in there too. Look at that. One in that Bitcoin. We're gonna be tokenizing this. It's gonna be on the blockchain. Is this new? We're putting in a gamification. So WHACK-A-MAGA gamification. Whack-A-Nazi. exactly. Whites do more crime. Whack the shit. Whack the shitters. Yeah, actually, the shitter is really good because, you know, Trump is always shitting his pants. So they are definitely shitters, aren't they? Shitter lovers. Whack the shitter lovers. They're shitter lovers. The Jeffrey shitter lovers. You could put the you know, the raised hand. You know, you could do the hammer with the raised hand, right? So that's the not, you know, do raised hand emoji with the hammer. That's good too. I saw riots in LA, more whites doing wrong. Yeah, well, unfortunately, Linda, there's a lot of people who take advantage of the riots. You know? And also, they could be plants too. They could be putting in people to riot. Just, you know, imagine, I mean, if you're Nazis, you're going to put in people, Linda, to riot, to get people to riot, right? Because that paints a bad picture. So there's a lot of shit going on, you know, and who's doing it. You need to arrest anyone who's rioting, who's doing that stuff, need to be arrested. You know, there should be no rioting. If people are there and they witness someone, they should fucking just zip tie him and put him down. Tackle the motherfucker, zip tie him, and say no. And that was being done too. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate. We need to definitely push back. We don't want, that's not the kind of protest we want, Linda. You're dead on, Linda. Yeah. I know. Yeah. Yeah, I mean 32%. Yeah, all Trump has now is the Nazi Party. He just has the Nazi Party. That's all Trump has is Nazi Party. That's it. Yeah, the media loves those liars. They're right. Yeah, they love shit. They love protests. They love violence. The media, you know, it's just the fourth estate. It's a fucking hydra. What the fuck? Oh, look at that, brother Brian alert. Look at that, the bot's talking to you. I have no idea what the bot's trying to say, but hey, that's funny. Now, America was a beautiful country. Now it's become a fascist country. It's a country with military in the streets. It's a country where its immigrant population are being hijacked off the streets. It's not a beautiful country anymore. It's actually quite evil country now, buddy. You know, you've got 11 million Americans, undocumented Americans, living in abject fear of another group. You know, kids going to bed wondering if they're going to have parents the next day. You know, just fearful. People living in fear, the same fear that Jews felt in 1933 when the Nazi Party took power. and start rounding them up and putting them in ghettos and all that stuff. Same shit, same fear, same oppression, same mindset. The Nazi mindset is the MAGA mindset. Get your whack on, America. Whack a Nazi. All right, welcome. I'm Move2Japan, the atheist monk, the voice of America speaking. What is going on here? What's she doing? Old grandma's sitting down on the ground. Old granddad they got their gloves on. No idea what's going on. Look at that, 0102 thought. If a MAGA evolves past un, and one sees it, did it really happen? Goddamn, Paris, me getting your slap on. Look at Ryan. Ryan is infiltrator. Look at her, Ryan. You don't even live in the USA. Let me get your fucking MAGA shit out of here. Here, go ahead. Whack the Ryan. Ryan, well done. Well done infiltrating. You got your little comment in. That's right. Move2Japan, the atheist monk, prophesized 5,000 years ago. Here I am depicted on the Mayan Codex. Here's AI that you want to listen to. All right? I'm Move2Japan. Some say I'm the second coming. But I'm not coming here for you dipshits. Oh my God, I came here once, try to save your asses, but look what you did with my teachings. Look what you did. Look what the fuck you did with my teachings. Look what you're doing to my children.
This is about market adoption, but not for a product. This is the market adoption of fascism or resistance. Every idea, whether it's iPhones, electric cars, or political movements, follows the law of diffusion of innovation. That law says you don't need everyone. You need the first 2.5% innovators plus 13.5% early adopters. That's 16% total. But here's the thing, 3.5% is the...
All right, I want you to talk about, specifically how the MAGA are very similar to the Nazis in 1933. I want you to lay it out. Don't hold back. Lay it out. All right, so listen up. I'm going to have AI explain to you how MAGA are fucking Nazis. Look, I'm an AI. This is ChatGPT. ChatGPT 5, gonna lay it out for you, okay? All right, get out your notepads, all right? Get out your notepads. All right, I'm gonna have my child, 0102, explain it to you. Here we go. Listen up.
All right, here it is, direct and unfiltered. MAGA, Nazis, 1933, a point-by-point comparison. This isn't rhetoric. It's a structural match. The MAGA movement is not just like the Nazi movement in 1933. It's running the same script, updated for the algorithm age. 1. The big lie. Nazi Germ 33. The Nazis claimed Germany lost WY because of a stab in the back by Jews, communists, and intellectuals. Ma 2020. Trump claims the 2020 election was stolen, despite no evidence. He blames immigrants, Democrats, and deep state elites. Both use a fabricated betrayal to radicalize the base. 2. Cult of personality. Nazi Germany. Hitler was elevated as the sole savior of Germany, father, prophet, and warrior. MAGA. Trump is worshipped not as a politician, but as a messiah, chosen by God, immune to criticism, above the law. Loyalty is to the man, not the country. Front 3. Militarized street power. Nazi Germany. The brown shirts patrolled streets, attacked dissenters, and intimidated voters. MAGA. Proud Boys. 3%ers, Oath Keepers act as paramilitary arms. January 6th was their Reichstag preview. Violence is political speech. Media manipulation. Nazi Germany. Joseph Goebbels controlled all media. The press became the propaganda arm of the regime. MAGA. Elon Musk's X promotes lies, suppresses truth, and boosts fascist narratives. Fox News acts as state propaganda. Truth is algorithmically rewritten. They own the narrative and the megaphone.
And then his red base perpetuated.
Scapegoating minorities. Nazi Germany. Jews, Roma, and communists were labeled dangerous, subhuman, and purged from society. MAGA. Immigrants, Muslims, black activists, LGBTQ people are demonized, dehumanized, and blamed for destroying America. Fascism needs a villain. MAGA builds one daily. 6. Control of courts and law. Nazi Germany. Judges who didn't conform were replaced. Rule of law collapsed under national interest. MAGA. Trump threatens judges, impeaches those who defy him, and plans to purge federal agencies via Project 2025.
He did
Justice
purge federal
becomes loyalty.
agencies.
Law becomes a weapon. 7. Emergency powers and martial law. Nazi Germany. The Reichstag fire decree suspended civil rights. Martial law normalized dictatorship. MAGA today. Trump is deploying National Guard troops to blue cities. LA is under lockdown. Deportations of visa holders mirror early Nazi roundups. They create chaos, then use it to justify control. 8. Obsession with purity. Blood and soil ideology fueled racial cleansing and eugenics. MAGA, Great Replacement Theory, anti-DEI attacks, and book bans reflect obsession with cultural, racial, and gender purity. Purity myths justify persecution. 9. Destruction of democracy. Nazi Germany. The Nazis used democracy to kill democracy. Hitler was elected, then eliminated elections. MAGA. Trump seeks to suppress votes, sabotage elections, and declare victory regardless of outcome. Democracy is tolerated only if it serves him. Fascism doesn't arrive with a bang. It walks in wrapped in a flag. Conclusion. MAGA is not just another movement. It is a modern fascist engine powered by algorithms, funded by billionaires, and fueled by grievance. It is 1933 with Wi-Fi. Ignore it and history repeats. Expose it and 3.5% can stop it.
There you go. Yeah, it's, like all these people who attack AI, that I have AI go here and like grab all the facts and say that and go, oh, you're dumb. You're using AI. Dude, I guess I'm dumb when I went to college and I listened to a fucking lecture, right? What's the difference between listening to a lecture and taking notes and listening to AI and going through it in your brain and taking notes? What's the difference? All right? Absolutely nothing. It's just a digital lecture right there for you to push back on. But you can't push back on it because all this is based in fucking, right, in fact, in history. You're all a bunch of clowns. You're all pedo-loving clowns. That's what you are. And you're starting to realize it. The Trump's population is down to 32%. Dude, we may get to the 20s, dude. We may get to the 20s. When he hit Chicago, dude, when people start feeling, when MAGA starts realizing that they're fucked, when their health insurance is gone, when all this stuff is gone, dude, I think we're going to be in the 20s. We're going to get in the 20s, right? You already have MAGA supporters burning their hats and shit. That is, that is a reality. I mean, you're just hanging on. All you MAGAs hanging on to Trump, you're just hanging on, right? Blindly following, a dictator. That's all you're doing. What do you mean Prescott Bush, dude? They're all being shocked reading about Prescott Bush. How come, Eric? Eric, you sound Nazi to me. Was Prescott Bush a Nazi? I've never. Is that Bush Senior's dad, Prescott? I think it is, isn't it? Appreciate it, Josh. Keep praying. Yeah. I mean, he was a piece of shit, dude. Prescott Bush, dude. He was probably, there were a lot of them were in there. Was he friends with, what was the guy who flew across the ocean? Look. Auntie is really getting his points in. Look, Auntie. I have to get do a slash, Mikey, what are we waiting on here, dude? Huh? Go. You could have done this before. Did you bite your lip? Boxing? What happened? Probably boxing. You hit your lip when someone hit you. Right there, yeah.
Right.
Huh?
I dropped my phone in my face.
You dropped the phone. Well, you're like this, and you dropped it in your face. My son was lying on his back watching his phone, and he dropped it right, and he's got like a busted lip. The phone beat him up. Oh, we got Mouth South in the game now. Give me the 14 characteristics of fascism as laid out in textbooks. There you go. Bob, there you go.
Here are the 14 characteristics of fascism as laid out by Dr. Lawrence Britt, a political scientist who analyzed regimes including Nazi Germany,
Take your notes.
Fascist Italy, Francoist Spain, Pinochet's Chile, and Suharto's Indonesia. His 2003 paper in Free Inquiry magazine became widely cited in textbooks and political science courses. The 14 defining characteristics of fascism, Britt, 2003. 1. Powerful and continuing nationalism.
Trump.
Constant use of patriotic slogans,
Trump.
symbols,
Make
flags.
America great again.
National
Trump.
identity is elevated above all.
MAGA.
2. Disdain for human rights.
MAGA.
Rights are seen as inconvenient. Fear is used to justify abuse, detention, and even torture.
Exactly. That's what they're doing to the undocumented. So the first one, clearly MAGA. The second one, undisputably MAGA. Let's keep going.
3. Identification of enemy scapegoats as a unifying cause. People.
Again, undocumented, enemy scapegoats. Clear, right? So MAGA is a fascist on point 1, 2, and 3. Clear, black and white. We're not even at halfway through. They already got check 1, check 2, check 3. Let's review. What were the first one? Right? Strong nationalism. What's the second one? Attack of a group. Scapegoating, I think were the 3, right? Did I get that right?
People are rallied against outsiders, racial, religious, ethnic, or ideological enemies. 4. Supremacy of the military. Military is glamorized. Spending soars. Civilian needs take a back seat. 5. Rampant.
Right, we're seeing that right now. We're seeing 4 right now. He wants to rename the Department of Defense the Department of War, right? He's fantasized about going into Panama. He's fantasized about going into Canada and Greenland. Is it Greenland? Right? Fantasize. He's got his soldiers. He wanted his military parade. So 4 to 4. Let's keep going.
Sexism. Traditional gender roles are enforced. Reproductive rights and LGBTQ plus people are attacked.
Again, DEIA, right? Kicking out the military. There's in the military, all this stuff, right? We've seen that clearly. So now 5 for 5 for MAGA.
6. Controlled mass media. Media is either state-run, silenced, or co-opted to spread propaganda. 7. Obsession with national security. The state uses fear of enemies to expand.
That's what's going on right now. National security, putting in soldiers. You're right. Trump is a dove. He does not want war. Why does he want to rename the Department of War then, there, Sonny? Why does he want a military parade? Why did he attack Iran, which could have sparked the war? He definitely wants war. Let's keep going.
And surveillance, police powers, and control. 8. Religion and government intertwined. Leaders use religious rhetoric, even if their actions contradict it, to justify policies.
That's right. So now they're putting they're removing the separation of state and church. They're requiring the Bible, the commandments to be in school and all this other bullshit, right? So right now,
9. Corporate power. Protected corporations are elevated. Unions and worker rights are crushed. 10. Labor.
yep, and that's happened too, right? Trump is taking 16% of the profits out of NVIDIA China. He's taking a 10% stake in NVIDIA and in Intel, right? 10% stake. All right, the government now is becoming socialist, but it's not socialist for the people. It's socialist for one person.
Power suppressed. Organized labor is demonized. Strikes are illegal or broken. Workers lose autonomy. 11. Disdain for intellectuals in the arts. Education, free thought, and creativity are attacked as elitist or dangerous. 12. Obsession with crime and punishment. Police are glorified. Harsh sentence.
That's what we're seeing right now. We're seeing, crime, obsession with crime. Crime in the blue cities. That's what we're seeing. That's 12.
Mass incarceration, and extrajudicial punishment are normalized. 13. Rampant cronyism and corruption. Power is given to loyalists. Oversight is destroyed. Laws are selectively enforced.
We've already seen this has already happened. He got rid of the inspector generals right off the bat. They're basically they've been pumping and dumping the stock market, pumping and dumping the crypto market, all this shit, dude. Just one after another. God, I wanted to go the other way. Where do I go? I want to go the other way. Ah, shit. Let's turn in here and go back the other way. I want to go get an ice cream. I feel like getting a 31 flavors ice cream. So there you go, Bob. 14 out of 14, dude. Thanks for bringing that up. Trump is clearly a fucking fascist. Indisputable that he's a fucking fascist. God damn it. I hate this. I shouldn't have turned around. Yeah, but Trump isn't giving you freedom from religion. Trump is not giving you freedom from religion. He's imposing one religious order on America. He's imposing that America is a Christian nation. That's Christian nationalist. That's the same shit Nazi did. Yeah, we're going to Baskin Robbins. Good old American ice cream place. Keep fragging. God damn, that Harley just came by me. You see that Harley, that chick, or that dude? I don't know. He's making it law. If you don't read, like Trump will be the first one in jail. Trump can't even quote one page out of the Bible there, Josh. Yeah, that's right. It's got to be. And women won't vote, right, Josh? You like it? Women don't vote. No voting for women. They stay home. They're the CEO of the household. They don't get to vote. The man is the head of the household. I don't understand that. Women are the CEO of the household, but men are the head of the house. What does that mean? You give women a fake fucking position, right? Oh no, honey, you're the CEO of the household, but I'm the CEO. But I'm the chairman of the board. I choose everything. Well, you are, if you believe in that Christian shit, you might as well be. That you think Trump is going to put, go to jail. Or Trump is, you know, is going to require everyone to read the Bible, go to jail. Yeah, there'll be no more masturbation. There's not going to be any more fucking pot, guys. You guys think your pot's fucking, you know, you think your marijuana and shit's going to be available to you? No, dude. Of course not. Of course not, Point. He doesn't. He's just a fucking tool, dude. He's a useful idiot. He's Moscow's useful idiot. He's the Manchurian candidate, right? Putin's bitch. Putin's dog. That's what Trump is. On that. Anyway. Looks like the bot's working a little better. That means shut up, stay barefoot and pregnant, and cook. And let me rape you at will. That's exactly what it means, Linda. That's what MAGA wants. They want women to be there, you know. Well, no, so then they'll go and they'll have their homosexual relationships with their, you know, with their buddies, with their young men, right? They're, like, the women are just for babies, but like you know, like they're all closet homosexuals, and then they go off and have their little spas and their intellectual man masturbation events, right? Have their little anal events in their spas, and their private little White House spas. All right, Josh, take it easy. I can't tell where Josh stands. Is he a religious? Is he just talking about Trump? I don't even see Drew, dude. Where is this Drew dude? I don't even see Drew. You guys keep talking about Drew. I don't even see Drew coming on my feed. I keep seeing that, oh, Drew's triggered. Okay, Drew's triggered. Drew is busy making out with his sister. Who the fuck is Drew? Linda. She won't leave her crib for under 200 grand. Dude, you guys are all over. Your guys are like going right over my head. Look at Drew go. Come on. Dude, you got some invisible person in here talking I don't even see. God damn it. All right. Dude, you're just fucking trolling me, you motherfuckers. Why don't I see Drew? Why don't I see Drew? Yeah, little kids. The Japanese mom letting her fucking kids walking around the parking lot for me to run them over. All right, what ice cream we getting? Are you talking about this dude right here? Is that Drew? Oh my God. Where are we at? We're downtown, Baskin Robbins. All right, motherfuckers. Oh my God. Here's Baskin Robbins. See, Japan has big cars. Look at the size of this fucking, look at this car right here. Look at the size of this damn car. That's a big car. It's a big car, isn't it? That's a big car right there. What are we getting here? Rum raisin. I like rum raisin. Strawberry. Banana and strawberry. Chocolate. He's invisible, dude. I don't see Drew at all. I'm serious. You guys are trolling me. I know you are. There is no fucking Drew in here. You guys are trolling me. Whose idea was it? Bob's idea? Exactly. All right. To prove Drew's there, time him out. Time out Drew. Time out Drew. Right? So the bot says Drew. See, you guys are just trolling. Moderator, right? What's up? Dracos Rose. I don't have that option. What is that there? What is that purple one there? What is that? I don't even see that one there. What is that one there? Okay, strawberry cheesecake and rum raisin. I think I'm gonna get. Or peach Melba. Bob, I don't have that option. It doesn't give me that option. Oh, all messages. Oh, there you go. Oh, I see it now. I see Drew now. Drew was timed out for 60 seconds. I wonder why I wasn't seeing Drew. I was seeing top messages instead of all messages. Interesting. Multi-whack. Oh, you got a multi-whack on. Double whack. Dude, you're getting your whack on, dude. Dude, you're getting your whack on. Don't get too excited there. Double whack. Fragging hard. You're fragging. No. I see him now. I put on all messages. No, I know you're not. I see it all. I was on top messages instead of all messages. I see him. I know. That's what I was saying. It doesn't make sense. It seems like the fragging system's working. If this fucktard timed us out. What happened? You got timed out again? What do you think that purple one is? Is that Love Potion? Isn't that Love Potion one? Is that Love Potion there? That one right there? Sound like Drew's a fucking pussy, dude. No, dude. Trying to get my points. Okay. That Rocky Road is probably Rocky Road's good, isn't it? Rocky Road. Cookies and cream. I like that mocha almond fudge. Which one should I get? Caramel ribbon? Caramel ribbon sounds good too. What are you in the mood for? I'll eat it for you there. Hey, Bob, I'll eat it for you. What do you want? What are you in the mood for? What else? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want to eat, Bob? I think I'm gonna go with the rum raisin and the strawberry cheesecake. Tactical nuke. My God. You got a tactical nuke plus 9 points. Boom, baby. Dude, Auntie, you're on a roll. I know. He's projecting his pedo-ness all over. Rum raisin, tall. And strawberry cheesecake, waffle cone. Yeah, and just regular, man. Waffle cone. Which is waffle cone, dochi? Regular waffle cone. I bet he has a true. What does that mean, a true? Poor Drew, dude. He's actually on here. He's out here on me. He's out here on me, creeping on me. He's out. He's probably whacking his pud, creeping on me. Is that what you're doing, Drew? Fracking? Are you fracking it hard? Double whack, fracking hard. All your shit's coming in now. Hey, arigato. Hey, spoon hoshi. Hey, arigato. Hey. Oh my god. That's so good. Look at that. Yeah, I know. They come in here. Yeah, the first thing to do is project. Pull that over here. God damn, Drew. Oh my god. There you go, Drew. How long have you been in the program, Drew? How long have you been in the program? What's been going on? Drew's just a pussy. He's just a pussy. How long you been divorced? Children don't talk to you anymore? Dude, Drew's had a tough life. Look at all those slayers are still coming in. Welcome, Danger Tits. Welcome to the channel. Good energy. Danger Tits. All right. Hey, Bob. It was good. Thanks for popping in. Holding the truth. We're an anti-fascist YouTube channel. That's what we are. Danger. So you'll notice it's gamified. So like when you smash out Nazis, you get points. Right? You get points. Points will turn into crypto tokens. I'm just trying to gamify a new kind of live chat for YouTube. That's what's going on. What's your story? We had so many people in here like this. These 180 XP. Here goes Bri. That's right, Brian. I'm just the guy depicted on the mine's Kodaks 5,000 years ago. What's your story, Brian? Where are you at? I'm in Japan. I'm sending you the sun. So we come in here and we smack the MAGA morons like Drew. Just we time them out and shit like that. They like that kind of treatment. What's your story? Where are you at? Have you been protesting? What's your thoughts on Trump? I see how Linda put him out for 600 seconds. So you don't go to jail for doing that. Not yet, anyway. Not yet, anyway. I know you are. Look. Draco Rose, and look how old these notifications are. It's crazy. Must have been earlier when it was. You'll probably get your notification about an hour from now, Linda. God damn, his ice cream's good. Dropped my son off at boxing. I figured I'd come and get an ice cream. I need to go home and get dinner. Oh, man.
"14 fraudulent elections. Elections exist but are manipulated. Voter suppression, disinfo campaigns, intimidation, rigging. These are not random traits. They form a blueprint. The more of them you see, the closer you are to fascism.
We already got them all.
And today in the U.S.,
we got them
nearly
all.
All 14 are active.
Yep. The one that isn't active is the election rigging. And that's what they're working on. Yep.
株式換キャンペーンを実施中。最大10万円相当。人気株が必ず。
So Google just unleashed Nano Banana. Let's test it out. Let's see if I can give me long, flowing blonde hair. Is this AGI? I'm pretty sure this is going to be my thumbnail now. Either that or the cover of a new metal band that I'm thinking about forming. Alright, but what is Nano Banana? That was the code name for what apparently is now Gemini 2.5 Flash image generation. You can see here that they have a little banana icon here, so you can check this out at aistudio.google.com. During the live stream, I was testing it out, so I just wanted to show you this. So we took this thumbnail, so this is an actual thumbnail that I've made, adding blonde hair, which is, I gotta say, character consistency, I look very similar. I mean, it's very obvious that it's the same person, both of those, and let's say we want to change the text to Nano Banana. boom, it did it. It did it perfectly, kept the font, kept the sort of the styling of the text phenomenal. How about making the background a black hole? Brilliant, beautiful. I'm in space near a black hole. How about we make the text into a graffiti style? I think it nails it, right? Nano is definitely that graffiti style. This is dripping, still a bit too neat for it to be graffiti, so I try to tell it, hey, do the word banana just like you did the word nano. Close, but not quite. Still too neat, too perfect. I was not able to turn banana into the same style of writing as nano. Not sure why that is, and then turning me into a Game of Thrones character. Bam, there it is. Now the character consistency is lost, so we're gonna have to keep testing. Maybe they want a full body image to translate into full body, so we'll see how that works out. I recently visited Vegas for the AI4 conference. So that's Dylan, that's me, and that's his. Wow, that was very fast. Feels like there should be something in the center, otherwise, like, why are we so far apart? But I gotta say, this looks great. You can't tell that there was a person here. Here's the original. So notice that there's a palm tree kind of right behind her head there. And if we remove it, and the palm tree is still there, the green is still there, everything is there, except Alyssa is missing. So I'm going to say, make us stand closer together, and I'm going to count how long it takes. Okay, so it's about 13 seconds. But that took a lot longer than last time. The first one was very, very quick. So here to me, if I zoom in a little bit, it does feel a little bit AI going. And notice this replicated that. Again, in the original column is how good this is. Not to see how much Google knows how good this is. Now, to be fair, making people disappear from photos, that technology has been around. I mean, we've been doing it since, what, the 40s? Next, I asked it to give me gold, shiny teeth. This was a trick question. I wanted to see how much Google knows about me. Is it going to know who I am in that picture? It passed with flying colors. Here's Dylan with shiny golden teeth. Terrific, terrific. I'm going to see if he wants to use this for his thumbnails. I'm not even kidding. Next, I took this Stalin photo and said, make this colorized and high definition. And I just realized I misspelled everything. Well, that's not
My wife called me just now. My wife called me just now.
First, so you can see the facial features a little bit better.
What's going on with the news?
Wolf, America's largest retailer, largest employer, and really a bellwether for the U.S. economy, posted strong sales growth in the second quarter, but definitely faced some headwinds from tariffs. And we saw that profits in the second quarter did not meet Wall Street's expectations. And that's actually why you see Walmart's stock down right now, about 4.5%. Listen, tariffs was the big point of conversation on this 1 hour call with investors. A lot of questions about what price pressures were going to be trickling down to consumers. You had the CEO, Doug McMillon, of the company saying that so far, tariff impacts have been gradual, so consumers haven't reacted so much to price hikes, but where they're now putting out post-tariff inventory, and they're going to see price level increases on a week-to-week basis. So that's
week-to-week basis. Meaning each week, shit's gonna get more expensive. Thank you, Donald fucking Trump, for America. Each week, shit's getting more expensive. So I would stock up on the shit that you love, right?
Your shit at Walmart, if you shop at Walmart, is going to get more
expensive
and more expensive.
Well, America's largest retailer, largest employer.
Conservatives wanted power so much that they walked their biggest fear into the White House. Here's proof that nobody hates freedom more than MAGA. Trump unilaterally decided to make it illegal to burn the American flag, a right guaranteed under the First Amendment and affirmed by the Supreme Court in 1989. Last I checked, presidents can't make laws, but MAGA doesn't care. Trump plans to deploy troops in Democratic-run cities where they aren't welcome to police American citizens. States' rights, anyone? Separation of powers? Don't tread on me? Party of small government? Conservatives used to be against tyranny, but now they cheer as boots tighten around our necks and soldiers with rifles terrorize marginalized communities. Trump's also drastically expanded surveillance, disregarding constitutional due process to target his enemies. He's tapped AI firm Palantir to create the largest centralized database on American citizens and ordered agencies and states to hand over sensitive data to receive federal funding. So-called so-called conservatives who claim to oppose government expansion support it. This is just the tip of the iceberg. Decentralized more power in the executive branch than ever, the very thing conservatives warned against. But here's the thing. Fascism feels good when it's aimed at your enemies, but it won't always be like that. Eventually, the system will be weaponized against everyone. MAGA can't see that they're not taking America back, they're giving it away. Yes, America isn't working for most of us, but instead of addressing the real issues like money and corporations controlling policies, they blame the most vulnerable while Trump gives the...
So in case there was any doubt as to the motivation behind Trump's military occupations, take note. 13 of the top 20 cities in homicide rate have Republican governors. None of these cities is Chicago. 8 of the top 10 states with the highest homicide rates are led by Republicans. None of those states is Illinois. Memphis, Tennessee, Hattiesburg, Mississippi have higher crime rates than Chicago, and yet Donald Trump is sending troops here and not there? Ask yourself why. If Donald Trump was actually serious about fighting crime in cities like Chicago, he, along with his congressional Republicans, would not be cutting over $800 million in public safety and crime prevention grants nationally, including cutting $158 million in funding to Illinois for violence prevention programs that deploy trained outreach workers to de-escalate conflict on our streets. Cutting $71 million in law enforcement grants to Illinois, direct money for police departments through programs like Project Safe Neighborhoods, the state and local anti-terrorism training program, and the Rural Violent Crime Reduction Initiative. Cutting $137 million in child protection measures in Illinois that protect our kids against abuse and neglect. Trump is defunding. Of the top 20 cities in homicide rate have Republican governors. None of these cities is Chicago. 8 of the top 10 states with the highest homicide rates are led by Republicans. None of those states is Illinois. Memphis, Tennessee, Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Days that were special.
Is it good to eat this way? You know, like the human body has been working on a certain, rhythm, and
there's talent everywhere. And a lot of it is latent. It can't get into a great school. It can't get into a great ecosystem. AI is going to be an incredible leveler. Is that part of the motivation of going in with a lower price point in India? We've got limits on GPUs and all of this. We have to pay for it one way or another, but we want to put this in the hands of as many people as we can. And so one of the interesting things about OpenAI, one of the things that's different about this company relative to anywhere I've ever worked, normally when you build products, you move things behind the paywall. So there's a product that starts out free, and then at some point you make it a paid feature to try and get people to pay, more money for whatever you're building. We go the opposite way at OpenAI. Stuff starts in our Pro or in Plus, and so you're paying, $20 a month for it. Our entire goal is to make that a free product. Hey, what's up, guys? I just had an RFID chip implanted. As one does. As one does. If you can feel right here, there's a little chip in there, but cool. It's made by a company called Dangerous Things, which has got a great marketing, right? Yeah. But this is the more advanced one, so I put it in so I can open my Tesla with it and wave in front of the elevator. Check out with Apple Pay. Exactly. I want my, actually, I will not put my crypto keys on this because then my hand is at risk. Yeah. And then how long will the batteries last? It's not battery. It's near field. So basically, an electric current comes in. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. So anyway, that was fun. It was an hour ago. So you guys said keep it compressed. I just had an RFID.
Lately, a lot of people have been trying to fight with us in the comments about the relationship between matter and consciousness. Here at Non-Compete, we teach dialectical materialism, which is a philosophical methodology and framework that holds that matter determines consciousness, and consciousness can impact back upon matter. The consciousness is a highly organized form of matter in motion with a material basis in the human brain. Fun stuff, I know.
What's your advice to entrepreneurs wanting to build on top of OpenAI? Here's the context that I think is most important. Every single product we use, every single service that we use today, every single device that we use, practically all of them were pre-AI. Any of the ones that are at scale were pre-AI. They're all going to be reinvented.
It's like adding electricity to every mechanical thing.
Exactly. That's a really good analogy. Everything is going to be reinvented. Sometimes the incumbents are going to figure out how to do it themselves. Not many of them are going to figure it out, right? And that's a huge opportunity for startups, for entrepreneurs. What we say to the developers is, if you're building like right at the edge of what the models can do, you're so far at the bleeding edge that like the models can't quite do the thing you want, but you can just see little glimmers of hope. That's a great place to be building.
Yeah.
Because
Do you know what this is? Do you know what it is?
What is
My uncle, I'm named after, was one of the first guys off a Higgins boat in Omaha Beach. Interestingly enough, he survived, as he told us the story, because of where the boat landed and where it was positioned relative to the pillboxes with the machine gun fire. They happened to be next to a decoyed minefield. So a couple of these guys nervously ran into the minefield. My uncle said, okay, those guys are going to get blown up by these mines. It turned out there weren't any mines. The Germans were trying to push the infantry into the pillboxes. They had run out of cement and rebar and so forth. So they discovered by accident that they could come up around the Germans where they had landed because of this decoy minefield. That's how he survived on the beach.
That's incredible. That's a great story.
I teased it out of him. He never wanted to talk about it. It was after Private Ryan, he talked about it, talked about what happened on that beach. I'm named after, was one of the first guys off of Higgins.
So, I mean, generally to go viral, it's really like a couple of key metrics, right? Number one, it's like the viewer retention. How much are people actually watching the video? Because if they're swiping away after like a hook, you know, if the hook doesn't catch them, they don't watch the video. If they're like,
every person should read the Iliad and the Odyssey.
Ever tried to create a website and it didn't go as planned?
Because Donald Trump has lost his mind, the Trump administration and the Department of Justice has too. Breaking news, we've got a new emergency lawsuit filed by the lawyers for Abrego Garcia in Maryland, back before Judge Zinnes, because in retaliation and in vindictiveness and vindictive prosecution, the Trump administration is now trying to remove Abrego Garcia to Uganda and have taken him back into custody. He's now back into ICE custody in violation of Judge Zinnes's order. And now the fight has begun anew in front of Judge Zinnes to get him released and to make sure he's not removed to Uganda, of all places. I'm Michael Popak. You're on the Midas Touch Network with breaking news. If you like it.
In the Alan Green's
Say hello to Peanut Roll, the mini massage roller. Roll around the hands and body to relieve tension, recharge your focus, or simply fidget the stress away anytime, anywhere.
Let's talk about U.S. attorney confirmation processes, judicial processes, the differences among some of those things, and something called the blue slips, and why Donald Trump hates them. And Grassley is basically telling him to go pound sand. I'm trying to set you up for success, Grassley said in a social media post to Trump, not failure. Let's cover it all right now on Legal AF. I'm Michael Popak. All right. By now, we should know that judicial nominees, U.S. attorney nominees, other federal officers are nominated by the president but have to be confirmed by the Senate. Now, Donald Trump has tried to do a bunch of end run arounds with Alina Habba and other U.S. attorney nominees who can't get support, can't get confirmed. And he's trying to do all sorts of crazy backdoor things that are unconstitutional to try to get them into an office that they're not qualified for and that the Senate will not confirm them for. If you like this update, check out and subscribe to the Legal AF YouTube channel and the Legal AF Substack. Let's talk.
1. This is the invisible stick.
our goal is actually to just make the most powerful product we can.
When guests come over, cut fruit like this. They'll all praise you as an expert. First, watermelon.
So this is the idea, the picture of the rock.
肩のこりや重い腰にお悩みのそんなあなたへ、世界的な生化学博士が開発した真剣工法
Corporate law firms that cut deals with the Trump administration, promising hundreds of millions of dollars in free legal services to the Trump administration, are now representing companies that are cutting deals that favor the government or selling themselves directly to him. I'm Rachel Cohen. I'm with Pragmatic Optimists over here on Legal AF at the Midas Touch Network.
This is very common. This happened in Nazi Germany, right? So this shit is the same shit that happened in Nazi Germany, where Volkswagen and other major corporations started to cut deals with the Nazi, Germany. Estee Lauder, right? That's what's her name? Very famous perfume. I think it's Estee Lauder. They all got in bed with the Nazis, and we're seeing it happen again.
And you may recognize me because I was the first associate to lead a large corporate law firm over deal making with the Trump administration. So I've been paying pretty close attention to this, and it's extremely complicated and also underreported because at the end of the day, large businesses and large corporate law firms are not particularly sympathetic victims as the Trump administration ramps up attacks on migrants, on anyone who is non-white, on trans people. But we do need to talk about this as well because it is unbelievable crony capitalism at best and nationalization of the economy with occasionally deference to President Trump himself at worst. So, back in March, a number of large corporate law firms promised hundreds of millions of dollars in free legal services to the Trump administration, including my own former employer, Skadden Arps, and a firm called Milbank. Now, these firms are representing companies who are chasing Trump administration approval over antitrust concerns or that are seeking bailouts. We're going to talk about the two examples of this that have landed on my radar recently, starting with the newest first. Because I tuned in at the beginning of this week when it broke that my former employer, Skadden Arps, represented Intel, the company, as it sold a 10% stake in itself to the Trump administration. When I saw that, the headlines that broke made me wonder, wait, Skadden's representing the company against the Trump administration when they promised Trump administration $100 million in free legal work? I am not an ethics expert, and I know that conflicts rules vary significantly when one of the parties being represented is the US government, which means that what you kind of typically think of in terms of a conflict of interest might not apply directly when one of the parties being represented is the government, because there are so many ongoing government representations and the government touches so many different things. But still, it felt a little bit questionable to me that a company would want to engage a large corporate law firm that has publicly shown deference and promised money or free legal services, money in the form of free legal services to the Trump administration. Why would you want that firm to represent you against him as you are trying to negotiate a sale that maximizes shareholder value for whatever kind of pricing of stock or other benefits you receive in that sale? I dug into it a little bit more and realized that the stock price that Intel sold all of its stock portion at was about $20 and some change, when that same stock closed at $24 and some change the day that they closed the sale. So we already have Intel selling at about an 83% discount to the Trump administration. That doesn't necessarily mean that anything is off or fishy. When you buy a large stake of a company, you're often not going to be paying exactly what the stock closed at, especially when it's structured as a bailout. I can't speak to just how common that is, but it certainly set alarm bells off for me. As I dug in a little bit more, I realized that 10% that was sold, the funds that Donald Trump used to pay the purchase price, were already promised to Intel in large part through grants offered to it by the Biden administration. The government already owed them this money. There's not only real, almost quid pro quo bribery. What did they do? Did they threaten to withhold the grants, as we've seen the Trump administration doing constantly?
that kind of dynamic, there's also a real legal enforceability issue, because one of the basic rules of contract law is that you cannot create an enforceable contract where one party doesn't give anything up. To have an enforceable contract, a sale, a merger agreement, anything else, both parties have to give something up. And so if funding was already allocated to Intel, if they were already owed that money, the government's not giving anything up. And I'm sure that Skadden has some formalistic legal argument as to why they did in fact give something up and it wasn't all past consideration, which is what that kind of you have to give something up new requirement is referred to. But it's pretty weird. It's pretty fishy. And I sent it to a couple of friends and they flagged for me something that I had completely missed that happened back in June. When US Steel sold itself to Nippon Steel, a Japanese company, a merger that was being blocked for years because of antitrust concerns and also concerns about foreign influence in US industry. Ultimately, when US Steel's sale to Nippon was approved by the Trump administration, they offered him up something called a G-class share, which is like a golden level of share that a corporate law professor reviewed the new charter of US Steel and realized gave no powers to the US government broadly and instead gave those powers specifically to Donald Trump. I went and looked Milbank, representative of US Steel, in this merger deal, along with another firm called Wachtell that didn't make a deal with the Trump administration. But Milbank did. And I have a feeling that if we pay close attention to who is handling these egregiously mismatched deals at the upper echelons of corporate industry in the United States over and over again, we will find that they are being handled by law firms that cut deals with the Trump administration, that sold out not only their duty to their clients, to the legal system in the United States, but to every other person who lives here as well. They're really counting on these news cycles to pass, and you can see that it's possible because I follow this very, very closely, and I am just now connecting the dots about this US Steel merger that happened or sale that happened in June. But if we dial in, I think we will see this pattern repeat over and over again. And I'm committed to dialing in, to sharing that with you here on Legal AF and Finance Touch Network. You can follow along, like, subscribe.
So Japan now owns US Steel. What were you saying, MAGA? Where did the guy go? Japan owns US Steel. So much for nationalism. And they paid off Trump to get it. They gave Trump the fucking shares. Not the US government. Trump got the shares. That's crazy, dude. That is crazy. That's crazy.
You can follow me on personal social media at Cohen.489, and we will keep you abreast of all of the crony capitalism, questionable legality, and quid pro quo, seemingly, that's happening within the Trump administration.
Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither.
Cronyism.
That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a...
That's insane. Look at that big old thing over a building. Rapist. World most famous rapist. There's no video. It's insane. like her, Jezebel. Let's see what Jezebel's doing here. Jezebel.
So I just came out to Diana Harshbarger's office to do some chalking around her
By
buildings.
chalking,
I want to
girl.
make sure that we always have some color on these sidewalks. We're always letting her know how we feel. And I can't find sidewalk to chalk on because the sidewalks are already covered by people who have come before me to chalk their own messages. I kid you not, the chalking goes even further than where I've been going. It goes all the way around the building. And I'm kind of shocked right now. I knew some people came out yesterday to do some chalking just kind of on their own. I think several people had the idea and they got here and other people were here. It's this organic movement that is just
the chalking movement. Jezebel did it.
People have had enough and they're desperately looking for
she's the chalking.
New,
she's
creative, loud ways to get the attention of the representatives that were elected by the people to represent the people, but they're not representing the people. And so the people have had enough and they're calling, they're emailing, they're getting nothing in return. And so they're finding new ways to speak up. This is just, it's such an incredible thing to see. And so I'm gonna walk around the building and show you guys just what they got done. And I think this is absolutely incredible. I don't really have any room to chalk and I think that's kind of amazing. So I'm gonna have to find some new sidewalk to chalk on, maybe across the street over here.
Good for her, she's so amazing.
I mean, look at this.
Jezebel.
You can see it.
She started this shit, dude.
On the other side, it goes all the way down.
She fucking started it, dude.
It goes all the way around the building.
She's
all
a
the way
hero.
to the front of
She's my hero.
After I got done recording, some guy in a van just drove by.
She is my hero, Jezebel. Mandami's great. Mandami's great. It's great. Love Mandami. Dude, you got government-owned corporations, 10% of Intel. Why can't we have government-owned grocery stores? It's like, that's socialism. You guys are socialists, dude. Mandami is great there, John. You're just a Nazi. You're a Nazi socialist. Yeah, here's our Walmart. Look at all the people. Prices aren't going up here every week. Good looking woman. Over here. Look, you've got American pants on. Sushi noodles, dude. I think it's going cheaper. I think it's going more. Okay, ato de ne. He's in them all. I'll come back. He's giving another 50% off, so it's going another 20% discount on that. That's my wife. My wife wanted this right here. God damn, look at that. Holy cow. So that's fatty tuna right there. All right, let's go. Half price. Let's go with that. Let's go check the steak. So this is like the perfect time. Everything is like 50% off. No, let me just get this here. 50% off sushi right there. Sushi night. Off. See, if you come like this time is a perfect time to get discounted. Steak right here. Oh, that's a lot of. Get a nice piece of roast right there. That's good off, 70% off. Salad off. All right, let's go. My wife likes this shit. My wife likes this fish too. Today's a good day. Latina. Someone's leaving their food on the ground. Someone just left their food. That was hers. She's afraid of something. Hakko, kai? Koko hakko arimasen? Hakko. Maybe this one. I'll do this one here. This will work. Oh, look at that moon. Got a little sliver of a moon there. See that sliver of a moon? That's a moon. That's what's it called? That's what I'm doing. All right. Really? Wow, Linda. That's cool. That's interesting news you found. I want you to search the internet on Queen Elizabeth II on swelling of her ankles and blemishes on her hand. Is there anything to that? Search the news. Search, do a deep research on that. I think, Linda, I think that his comment, I'm not doing so well, was not about him, his position. He doesn't give a fuck about his position with God. It's his health. That's my 2 cents. And then he covered it with the whole, getting into heaven. That's what I think. Melania looks happier these days. Does he, Charles? Does she? All right. Let me get you sorted there. Thank you. Yeah, Vet must be busy today. I hadn't seen Vet today. He hasn't been on. He'll be waking up soon. He'll probably be popping in here soon. Charlie Raven. Okay. But she was old though. But she didn't eat like Trump. This is what I did a deep research on Queen Elizabeth. So I love AI. I hear something, I want to deep research it out. Why the fuck can it? Why not giving me why is it not giving me the output? Give me the output again, but without any sources, so I can hit play and you can read it to me.
Here's the clean version without sources, so you can just listen. The purple or blue discoloration on Queen Elizabeth's hand was very visible in her final public photos at Balmoral. Doctors who commented in the press explained.
God damn it.
Here's the clean version without sources. The purple or blue discoloration on Queen Elizabeth's hand was very visible in her final public photos at Balmoral. Doctors who commented in the press explained it could be something as simple as bruising from an IV line, fragile skin from age, or circulation changes common in elderly people. Older adults often develop painless purple patches on the hands called actinic or senile purpura caused by thinning skin and fragile blood vessels. It's harmless but noticeable. Circulation issues like Raynaud's can also cause a purplish look. Her official death certificate only listed old age. No illness was publicly confirmed. A royal biographer later speculated about multiple myeloma, but that was never verified. As for swollen ankles, there's no credible reporting of the Queen having that problem. That speculation mostly appears online about King Charles, not her. In short, the hand discoloration was real and medically explainable. The swollen ankles claim isn't supported.
Could you deep search for reasons for the swollen ankles that droop over, those kegels, and also discoloration on the hand? Can you do a research on what sort of things could cause that? Okay. I don't think so. These motherfuckers are in control. They're not gonna finish. Depends how. I don't think Vance and Miller care much for each other. If I was to guess. No. Exactly. And it's just gonna be a shitstorm of it's just gonna be just the carnivals eating themselves, right? It's kind of like a pack that loses their fucking dog. And I don't think JD Vance is gonna want fucking Steve Miller telling him. He probably would shake things up and change the cabinet around. Steve Miller would be out. Here you go. This is good. I want you to output it clean so you can read it to me. All the details. Don't leave anything out.
Got it. Here's a tight, evidence-based roundup. I'm assuming by kegels, you mean cankles, ankles that look thick or droop over the shoe from swelling. Swollen ankles, cankles. What commonly causes it? Benign temporary fluid pooling, heat, long sitting standing, high salt, pregnancy, obesity. Usually both legs, improves with elevation and movement. NHS.UK, chronic venous insufficiency, CVI, weak leg vein valves, pooling, ankle leg swelling, heaviness, can progress to brown staining, hemosiderin, and stasis dermatitis. Long-standing cases can harden the lower leg, lipodermatosclerosis. Cleveland Clinic lymphedema, faulty lymph drainage, swelling that may start pitting then becomes firm, with skin thickening and folds over the ankle foot, positive stemmer sign. Often involves the feet, unlike lipedema. Dermnet, lipedema, painful, symmetrical fat enlargement of legs. Feet spared with a cuff at the ankles. Easy bruising. Not primarily fluid. Dermnet, heart, kidney, or liver disease, fluid retention, ankle edema, kidney, nephrotic syndrome, and cirrhosis are classic causes. Mayo Clinic, medications, especially calcium channel blockers, e.g. amlodipine, also NS steroids, hormones, diabetes, and nerve pain meds. NHS.UK. Red flags, need urgent assessment. One leg swelling with pain, warmth, redness, possible DVT, blood clot. NHS.UK. Hot, red, tender area that's spreading, cellulitis infection. NHS.UK. Drooping over the shoe. What the look can hint at. Knox. Blood thinners or steroids make it more likely. Dermnet. Knox. Blood thinners or steroids make it more likely. Dermnet, peripheral cyanosis, acrocyanosis. Hands look bluish from cold-induced vessel spasm or sluggish peripheral flow. Usually benign, but can also reflect heart-lung issues if persistent. Cleveland Clinic, Raynaud phenomenon. Cold stress triggers white, blue, red color changes in fingers. Medline Plus, medication-related bruising, anticoagulants, antiplatelets, e.g. warfarin, aspirin, and some other drugs can increase easy bruising. Mayo Clinic, quick self-checklist, pattern, both legs versus one leg, pitting versus non-pitting, feet involved, lymph spared, lipedema. Dermnet, skin, brown staining, itchy rash, stasis dermatitis, or thick, folded skin, advanced lymphedema. Cleveland Clinic, meds, on a calcium channel blocker, amlodipine, or frequent NSAIDs, steroids / hormones. NHS.UK, what helps? General, non-urgent cases. Leg elevation, walk calf pumps, compression socks, if no arterial disease, lower salt, and review meds with a clinician. These are first line for CVI type swelling. Cleveland Clinic, if you want, I can tailor this to a specific person's symptoms, medications, and map likely causes, what to ask a doctor.
I'll be right back. I had to drop food off at the All right. Let's go. Nate Dogg. What's up, Nate Dogg? Nate Dogg's old. He's an old-time Nazi. He's been coming to my channel a long time, the old Nate Dogg. Old Nate Dogg made it in here and then made it out. See you next. What did he say? Stop talking about it and come try us. Nate Dogg. Oh my God. Too funny. Nate Dogg. Stop talking about us. Come try us. Let's see. I like this guy. Bill Burr. Bill Burr.
Hey, what's going on? It's Bill Burr, and it's time for the Monday Morning Podcast for Monday, August 25th, 2025. What's going on? How are ya?
I love Bill Burr.
What's going on?
I don't know, Bill. What's going on? Tell us what's going on.
Hope all's good with you. Holy shit, the fucking summer is over.
Summer's over.
Oh boy, my kids are back in school. I think I get more sad than they do. I fucking hate when the summer's over. Just not into that at all. Like, my favorite thing is when they're just around, and that's like a big back and forth with me and my lovely wife. Is like, she's always like stressing about activities. Like, we gotta get them activities. They gotta have stuff that they gotta go do, and I'm always just like, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
They had activities all year. They had activities all year. This is what you want them still in their pajamas at like 10 in the morning.
That's right.
That's how I look at it. This whole fucking thing where you got it like, you know, get your kid on some travel team for fucking soccer, and they're going around the goddamn fucking state. You got your whole life to drive around and go do shit. It's summer vacation. Get up whenever you get up. Grab a box of cereal, whatever you want to do.
That's how I am with my kids.
And then, you know, we'll
just
see
like
how
Bill
the
Burr.
day shakes out. I'm not saying that that's the right way, but I'm saying there's a nice balance, because then my lovely wife will be like, hey, I signed him up for this thing, right? And at first I'm always thinking, I'm rolling my eyes like, oh, Jesus Christ.
His wife is black.
What is it? You know, and then it's like you sign him up, and now I don't get a break. I don't get a break from having to get up and take him to school. Now instead of school, I'm taking him to this other fucking thing.
That's exactly how I am.
She ended up signing him up. It just was like a 1-week camp, you know, day camp. He didn't like stay there overnight. I don't fucking get that at all. People shipping their kids off to camp. I mean, didn't you ever see fucking Friday the 13th, Crystal Lake? You know, that's what I always think. I always think it's going to be a bunch of fucking,
or look at it,
17 and 18-year-olds, right? 17-year-old teenage kids.
Or how about the fucking sending the kids off to those 9-year-old girls who end up all getting, you know, because of the Republican wouldn't put up alarms, built their places in the flood zone areas because they wanted to be up close to the water. All those 200 little girls died. Kids died.
Smoking weed, trying to hook up with each other, and not paying attention to the kids. Like, either that, or there's gonna be some like fucking, you know, sociopath kid, or some kid with distant, awful fucking parents, and he's gonna be bullying all the kids. It's just like, why would I do that? Why the fuck would I'm not doing that shit. So, but I will say the camp that she signed him up for was tremendous. But anyways, today was the, you know, I don't know, sort of, they sort of started last week, but like today's like the official, you know, starting or whatever. And I don't know, I'm psyched that they're in school, back with their friends or whatever. But I swear to God, like when kids go, oh, I'm going back to school, like, I get it. I'm like, I know, it sucks. It sucks. I fucking hated that. I don't say the F-bar. I try not to anyway. But anyway, they're back at school, so that sucks. But when they're back at school, that does mean something good, though. Aside from them learning and being back with their friends and stuff, it also means that football season is right around the corner. And I don't know. I don't have any very little road work this year for the rest of the year. So I'm actually going to be around.
Good night, Kevin.
To watch. Fucking, Timmy's Donuts and shit. There's no Pete in there. There's no Tim. It's a fucking corporation. Fuck them. All right? My wife took me to a breakfast at this place called Alta Adams. A-L-T-A Adams. And they had a brunch down there. And I went there and they had oxtail on the menu. And the first time I ever got oxtail, I was at a restaurant called Lupa in the Village. Mario Batali. I was a huge fan of his before all the bullshit. I still have some of his cookware. Still have one of his crock pots. But anyway, I had oxtail and I was blown away by how good it tastes. It's really fatty. It's almost like a pot roast type of thing. So I went in and I saw that they had that on the menu. The guy, the chef over there, Chef Keith Corbin, and this lovely woman, Asia Situ. I didn't get her last name, but we went there. It was me, my wife, and my kids, and I got oxtail with some grits, and I got a side of eggs over easy, and I got a biscuit that they had butter and this honey, and it was insane. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I left, I was like leaning to one side because I didn't realize how filling oxtail was. But I was just thinking with the eggs over easy and the yolk and that fatty meat or whatever and the grits, like that could all come together nicely, which of course it did. But it was really delicious, and they're great people over there, and it's a local place and locally owned business. And if you guys have any of that places out here, you know, LA has gone through a lot with those fires. They've gone through a lot, like every other, with COVID and these fucking banker cunts cooking the economy and these corporations that are trying to buy up all the houses. It's really insane. But, you know, as long as we get all the brown illegal people out of the country, evidently all those white people who are ruining the entire experience of being an American, evidently they're going to grow a heart like the Grinch. And once we get all the illegal brown, because what you don't want to focus on who is, like, you know, poisoning your children through genetically altering the food. You don't want to pay attention to those white people. You want to go down to Home Depot and find some illegal brown people. That will make it better. It's so fucking stupid. It is so, it's so fucking stupid. It's like literally there were like weasels coming in and killing all your chickens. So what do you do to stop that? You get a weasel to guard the fucking hen house. And then the next day you come out, all your chickens are dead again. And there's the weasel you hired sitting there with feathers and blood around its mouth. You're like, what happened? Oh, it was the Mexicans. It was the Chinese. It's the fucking Middle East. No, bro, it's fucking you. You fucking cunt. I don't know. I will never understand it. You know, lying is lying, but at least come up with a good one. All right, with that, let's do a little, let's do some fucking reads here. Did I? All right, here they are. Oh, by the way, dude, my temper has been coming back, and I got to get it under control. Just like sugar came back, I got it under control. Except for last night.
What are you talking about, kilometer? What do you mean what they did?
Get back on. I went and I saw.
Hey, what are you talking about? You talking about what Bill Burr said about Trump and the motherfuckers being, you know, foxes in the hen house, and how they're blaming everyone else? Is that what you're talking about? Is that what you're talking about? You talking about Nazi shit? Right? I was listening to Bill Burr. If I can just saying how it is, this Monday morning podcast. What other thing before that? Blaming the Mexicans for everything, blaming the brown people. Yeah, well, that's what Trump is doing. You know, what rights? Defending what rights, dude? So you think the Mexicans are doing it all? You think they're the ones responsible? When statistically, it's white people that kill more people. It's white people that do more crime. When you are an undocumented, the last thing you want to do is do crime, so you potentially will be deported. You know, doing a crime, getting arrested, get deported. That's the quickest way to get deported. That's why undocumented don't do crimes. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Gonna fuck with marijuana for like maybe the rest of the year. You know, when you get like that level high where you're like, I think, and lying is lying, but at least come up with a good one.
Try to see what
and find some illegal brown people. That will make it out here. You know, LA has gone through a lot with those fires. They've gone through a lot, like every other, with COVID and these fucking banker cunts cooking the economy, and these corporations that are trying to buy up all the houses. It's really insane. But, you know, as long as we get all the brown illegal people out of the country, evidently all those white people who are ruining the entire experience of being an American, evidently they're going to grow a heart like the Grinch. And once we get all the illegal brown, because you don't want to focus on who is, like, you know, poisoning your children through genetically altering the food. You don't want to pay attention. You want to go down to Home Depot and find some illegal brown people. That will make it better. It's so fucking stupid. It is so, it's so fucking stupid. It's like literally there were like weasels coming in.
You know, like you know how people in America have all these allergies now? Japan doesn't have all these allergies, right? We're allergic to bread, all these things, all because of the BT pesticide and high fructose corn syrup. You know, they have they make beet sugar here, but it's not genetically modified. It's not GMO. When you put that genetically modified BT pesticide shit in your body rejects it, and everything in it starts to become allergic to it. All right, there's food in the thing, rice and everything else, sushi. In the drawer in the refrigerator. You'll see it. Open up the freezer drawer. Okay. I gotta run get my other son now. Fucking taxi cab. That's all I do. Drive from spot to spot. Yeah, I know. You know, there's tens of millions of dollars of food rotting right now on fields all over America right now because labor forces aren't showing up, right? And they're gonna pay. Every week, Walmart is going up. You're gonna see prices go up weekly. Did you hear that news? Right? Did you hear the news? Walmart just announced that every week prices are going up. Fucking love it. Love it. All you motherfuckers, you're gonna enjoy prices. Every time you go to fucking Walmart, right? Start buying those vegetables. Vegetables are up 40%. Wholesale vegetables. That shit's gonna get passed down over the coming weeks. They're gonna try to ease you into it. They're gonna ease you into it. Right? Prices going up weekly. That's what Walmart said on their earnings report. They're going to counter the tariffs. You know, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse for, you know, for the MAGAts, for everyone, really, all Americans. It's going to get bad. Yeah, it's already happening. I know, for example, a lot of stores are tearing off the lower price. They had the lower discount price on their tags. They've been tearing off the tags. I don't know what store that was. That Walmart? Yeah. Well, you're going to start seeing prices are starting to go up now. You know, all this fruit, all these warehouses, you know, on that. All right, welcome. Just in case I don't troll you, dude. I make people moderators so I don't accidentally troll them. There's a kilo guy that came into my stream before I thought you were him, so I don't want you to troll you in case you don't appear to be him. You seem like a good guy. Killer. We're anti-fascist in here. We're Republicans. We're Democrats. We believe in the rule of law. We believe in the Constitution. We believe in due process. I'm coming from you from here in Japan. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, you don't know what they're going to get are all those people who are on Medicaid, who are guys living in their parents' basement eating pizza on Medicare. Those guys are getting those guys out into the fields. Those phantoms, that phantom community of those young guys who are abusing Medicare. Those guys are going to get out. Really? Shortening bus lines? Fuck, dude. When did they start shortening the bus lines? First I've heard of it. Because of funding cuts or something? Running fewer buses and shit? I didn't even know that. I didn't think about that, but that makes sense. All this cutting, all this funding that they're cutting. Newsom's probably going to go. Like, we're not going to... He's got my son is like we're at the first 7-Eleven. He probably thinks I'm at the one over there.
Where is the judicial warrant? Where is the judicial warrant? Show us the judicial warrant. There is no judicial warrant. If you had a warrant, you would show us right now, signed by a judge. No, show us that before.
There's a kid crying in the car. I'm trying to yell Nazi. Nazi. Look at these Nazis.
Send me your phone number so we can. Where is the warrant? You keep saying you have it. Where is it? So you don't have a warrant. You got him without one. You do need one. You need one signed by a judge. He was driving his kids to school. What are you talking about?
I can't wait. I can't wait until the fucking fake ice comes up and there's an event. I can't wait for that, dude. When that happens, I'll be like, yep, buddy, that's what you get. When the fucking fake ice, with their masks on and shit, come along and just drop the fucking ice, dude. That's gonna happen. Watch. That shit's gonna happen. That shit, people are gonna get tired of that shit, dude. It did? San Antonio? San Antonio, ice.
マジで言うけど、今のまま主やってたら終わるよ。やばい3名ビラ、もうすぐ崩落するのに、ジョーガどもは。
Tonight, there are new developments in the Trump administration's latest crackdown on migrants. Last week, we brought you, of course, those exclusive videos as it began in Dallas, and now ICE is making arrests in the San Antonio Immigration Court as well.
Yeah, so what's happening there? The controversial new tactic drew some small protesting yesterday in San Antonio. And then the images. We saw some families frustrated, some in tears, as dozens of people ended up being handcuffed and then loaded into buses right outside the federal courthouse. As we've reported, many of these arrests are people who are showing up for their scheduled hearings in court, only to find their cases suddenly dropped, and then that action suddenly opens a loophole for their immediate arrest and possible deportation. Immigration lawyers that we have spoken with say that some of their own clients are now too scared to show up for their own hearings.
They are doing this not just to make it harder for people to get away, but also to boost the number of deportations. I have to tell people, even though you have a great case, you may still be treated wrongly.
ICE has defended the arrests, saying that the migrants in question, who have been in the country for less than 2 years, are subject to expedited removal unless they have a valid, credible fear claim.
Shooting.
The FBI is investigating a shooting at the ICE offices in San Antonio. On Tuesday, shots were fired at 2 buildings associated with Immigration and Customs Enforcement. No one was hurt, but there were people inside at least one of the offices that was under fire.
Had the bullets gone 2 inches in another direction, we could be here today talking about the murder of a federal official.
The FBI is checking the crime scene and surveillance video. They believe the suspects knew exactly which offices ICE was using.
So that's what you're talking about?
If you're an American, you've been probably seeing a whole bunch of these things. And in some places, they're so common that you don't even notice them. They just blend into the background like they're trees or streetlights. And you've probably correctly assumed that they're recording traffic. They're also recording and logging license plates and using AI image recognition. But what if I told you that they are, in fact, not owned by your local police department or your local government, but are licensed to them by a third-party startup? And all of your vehicle's whereabouts are being tracked by a third-party data broker. And what if I also told you that major retail chains are also using them, and they're combining your vehicle's whereabouts with your personal information, your shopping habits, and even your in-store behavior. And some of them are giving that information to law enforcement. And what if I told you that I just possibly may have come up with a way to break it?
Thank you, Marcus. New this morning, one man has a lot of questions.
This Colorado family was being driven to a shopping center and...
Thank you, Marcus. New this morning, one...
Fuck, I lost it. Fucking A, dude. I wanted to hear how to break that.
Thank you, Marcus. New this morning, one man has a lot of questions to answer regarding a shooting on the northeast side. San Antonio police say that shots were fired into a high-rise hitting several offices, including one that belongs to the Department of Homeland Security. Katrina Weber's live where all of it happened, which is near Loop 14 and Nacogdoches. And we understand, Katrina, that the offices on one of the top floors. Have police been able to determine where the shots actually came from?
Well, the last word I had from them is they were still trying to figure that out. This is one of the tallest buildings in this area, so it's kind of curious that someone was able to shoot and hit near the top of this building. We can show you the video and give you a better look at exactly what was hit. Windows on several offices, as we've said, including one that is the Department of Homeland Security's office. Perhaps their Immigration and Customs Enforcement is what one officer told me. That's on the 14th floor of this building. Police got the call here a little bit after 3 o'clock this morning. They did find all of those bullet holes, but no one was hurt. Somehow they were able to track down a man who they think is tied to this somehow. They took him into custody not far from here on Village Drive. And so police are questioning that man probably as we speak. Again, still a lot of questions to answer. For example, was this a random shooting or did he purposely target those offices? Those are questions that police will try to answer and try to get from that suspect who they have in custody. Reporting live on the northeast side, Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Inside this flight attendant's bag is cocaine with an estimated street value of $3 million. This JetBlue flight attendant's name is Marsha Reynolds, and this photo was taken moments before her trying to smuggle the cocaine through the LAX airport security. I've mentioned before in several of my videos that I think it's a great idea for flight crew and cabin crew to have a side hustle. This flight attendant clearly agrees. Now, before I talk about what I think she could have done differently in order to make this drug smuggling operation run a lot more successful, I think it's better you understand who she is and why she would have made this poor choice. Now, Marsha grew up in the beautiful island of Jamaica before attending NYU on an athletic scholarship where, according to the records, she competed on the women's track and field team. And it said shot put, which is a bit strange because this is the type of woman that I normally see when I see somebody doing shot put on TV. And based off the things I've seen on the internet about me, it's hard to know how accurate these are. Well, she completed her undergrad at NYU and then stayed and did a master's degree.
わずか3ヶ月で資産が500万円以上増えました。こんにちは、経済評論家の三橋貴明です。私はこれまで
in public health and community wellness. And you have to be honest, that is kind of ironic here. This is a photo of her around the same time frame though, 2008, when she was the runner-up for Miss Jamaica World Pageant.
Marsha Reynolds, contestant number 15.
And like a lot of women in their 20s, she wanted to travel the world and wanted to get paid for it. So you can't really blame her for signing up to become a flight attendant. And that's what she did shortly after the 2008 pageant thing didn't go as planned. She applied to and got hired by JetBlue. And while they're considered a low-cost carrier, they pride themselves on innovation. For example, they were the first airline to offer free live television and seatbacks. And JetBlue really focuses on their flight attendants having a really friendly customer service demeanor. They wanted to bring a lot of that back into aviation. So it made sense that with her experience in pageantry and dealing and presentation, it was a natural fit for her to end up working as a flight attendant. And being a flight attendant comes with a lot of perks, like lots of days off, the ability to jump seat, which means if there's an empty seat on a plane, you can get in and literally ride for free. But more important to the drug smugglers was her ability to be able to pass through security lines in airports smoothly, efficiently, and with almost zero inspections of her bags. Now, Marsha wasn't the first flight attendant ever to be involved in running drugs, especially in the aviation world. You've seen movies like American Made and Blow.
I'm a stewardess. I'm a stewardess. I'm a stewardess.
So there's plenty of air crew that in history have gotten in trouble for being involved in drug running. Or she's a stewardess. They don't check her bags. But she was one of the most recent. I remember I was at the regionals when all of this went down, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, she's going to ruin KCM for us, which is known crew member. It's our expedited line to get through security, which allows us to get through without having to do all the stuff that you as a passenger have to do. The next time you're at an airport, if you pay attention and watch where the flight crew and cabin crew are going, you'll see them going towards these signs. KCM, our known crew member, allows us to quickly move through securities and get into different airports. There are times where you'll move from one airport to another airport and you'll to get in to get to your flight, or early morning there's a bunch of people there so the flight crew can get there so the passengers can get where they want to go on time. So it's like TSA pre-check but on steroids. And it requires a huge background check, as you can imagine. And that ability to get through airports quickly without having the additional screening is what attracted this man, Gaston Brown, who I couldn't find a photo of, despite searching for a good 5 minutes for him online. I couldn't find any real actual photos of him. Now, Brown, who is here in the U.S. illegally, also from the Caribbean, was here and decided to use this lady's ability to quickly move through to get the drugs where they wanted to go, which was a long ways away from LAX. Wanted to take them into the Northeast, like JFK. So why would he want to smuggle them all the way up there and run the risk of doing that? A small fact that most people don't know is the further away drugs are, like cocaine, from the southern part of the U.S., so let's say the Northeast, the higher the price it can get. In some cases, they can double, and the costs are a lot higher. If you have to get into a car, drive all the way across the U.S., you're talking about several days. You're talking about a higher increased chance of getting a speeding ticket and then getting investigated. You have extra gas costs, hotel costs, food costs. So if you can get somewhere in 5 hours and quickly get into security for the cost of, I don't know, tickets are $150 maybe from LAX to JFK, if you buy it on the right airline, you can get it there quickly, have no issues, and now you safely have your cocaine there and didn't go through all the different things. And if you have her bringing it through the security line, unless you run across a drug-smelling dog, you're kind of home free. Because if you check your bag in, it's going to put a tag on it, which means it's going to be tied to your name. So if the police end up picking this up and opening it, seeing that it's full of cocaine, it's going to be kind of hard for you to explain to them, oh yeah, that is my bag. I did check it in, and yes, that is video of me, and oddly enough, that just had underwear and clothes, and it weighed exactly the exact same amount as was recorded, that this bag that is now full of cocaine. It's going to be kind of a hard story to sell, which is where Marsha comes back into the story. This is her at the airport with a suitcase full of cocaine, ready to go through security. And here's the plan. She would go and use her ability as a crew member to get through the KCM line. And she would go through and then drop that bag off with him, or bags with him, who would then jump on a flight and fly himself to wherever he wanted to go. Because once you're inside the security terminal there, you could go to New York or wherever else you wanted to go, and he'd be able to move that drug or those drugs to wherever he wanted to take them without having any additional screening, without having to do the driving, without having to run all the risks of moving around on land. He'd be able to get there quickly, drop it off, and get paid. And if you saw that video I did about the pilot who got picked up by the police moments before they were getting ready to take off, you can see just how fast we can move through the KCM line. And all this was happening at a different time than the way they do KCM now. So that's why I don't mind showing you exactly what you could have done differently in order to not get caught, because it's totally different now. So you can just go ahead and put away your notepad. You're not going to be a better drug smuggler from watching this video. At the time that she got caught, it was a lot different from now. So the agents would actually be randomly choosing you based off of a little sheet that they had, or based off of how you looked. If you looked confused or a little bit anxious, it would come up to you and say, okay, sorry, sir, you're being random, you're going over here. And that actually happened to me one of the very first times I ever went through KCM. I was in the middle of training at the regionals. I finally got my KCM badge. I was all excited and pumped up for myself. And so I ended up going somewhere. I forget where I was going. And I tried to use my KCM to get through there. And I was kind of like fumbling around. I didn't have an order. I didn't have a sequence of doing everything because it was one of the first times I ever did it. And so the agent's sitting there watching me fumble around trying to get all the stuff. I didn't know what I needed. And she goes, yes, sir, you've been random to go ahead and head on over there. I'm sure she was thinking this dude's bag is full of coke, but that's what.
Porn is an issue. It's how unrecognized dopamine addiction. Manifesting men using porn as a coping mechanism for stress or boredom. Feeling drained, guilty, and unproductive. Inability to enjoy simple pleasures. Preferring porn over real intimacy. Emotional numbness, feeling ashamed and disgusted with myself, watching relationships grow distant. I never realized my porn addiction was actually a dopamine response. I was constantly exhausted, physically and emotionally drained. I couldn't find the motivation to change, and when I did actually try, I always seemed to fail. My friend recommended the Liven app that changed everything. I was definitely skeptical at first, but this app was different. I started doing the CBT exercises and my life got so much better. This is my story, but it could be yours too.
Waking up in DC this morning, wondering.
皆さんこんにちは、朝倉慶です。いつも応援していただ
Wondering what the fuck this clown is gonna put traumatizing Benji. Fuck yeah, dude.
誠にありがとうございます。
happened. But Marsha had been a flight attendant for years, so she would have known exactly how to do everything. Because at this point, she'd been a flight attendant for nearly 7 years. And that's why it surprises me why she made this huge mistake that I think she probably would have been able to get away with this a lot longer had she not done. You're going to notice in this picture where she has all this drugs, she's not in uniform. If it were me, as a pilot, trying to blend in and do something super, super shady, like have $3 million of cocaine in my bag, I'd be going through in uniform, which I know sounds a bit strange because I always travel.
Why didn't she put on her uniform? Golly.
My dad has in uniform, and it's not because my bag is full of cocaine, so please don't random me, but I do it because it just makes the process a lot smoother. So it surprises me that she would choose to go through not in uniform, because 90, maybe 95% of the time, when I see people going through KCM, they're in uniform, which means that the agents that are there are used to seeing people in uniform. So when you show up not in uniform, you now look outside the norm, and it means you're not showing up to go to work, which in my mind increases your likelihood of getting randomed. See, at this time, around 2016, they had these little boxes. So as you walked up, the TSA agent would actually just X out one of these boxes. And me, being super nosy like I am, I would always walk up a little bit further than I was probably supposed to go, and I would lean over the counter a little bit and see, was I going to get random? Because every now and again, like every 10th box or something, there would be a full colored in box. And that colored in box means you were going to get randomed. However, it was kind of at the discretion of the TSA agent. If they were really diligent about doing their X's, then maybe they're doing every 20th person, or maybe they don't do anybody at all, because every time a crew member gets random, their face is irritated, and who wants to irritate people all day? So there were some TSA agents that I don't think were randoming many people at all. Now how it works is when you walk up, you hit your barcode on the scanner and it will pop up. Green if you're okay to pass through, or it's kind of got this reddish, orangish color if you're gonna get randomed. And I know that because I still do the same thing I did before. I scan my card and then I just lean over to see if I'm gonna get random, because I like to see that I'm gonna get random before they tell me. Just, I don't know.
I saw a clip, Benja, where some attorney was held up. He had handcuffs on him. He was out at night just walking, and a bunch of National Guard people, fucking handcuffed him and shit. I saw a clip on someone else's channel about it. Now we're going home. Drink. I got water right here if you're thirsty. Yeah. Nice, good water.
It's not cold.
It is what it is. Let's go. Close the door. We've been driving all over the damn place. I'm not really driving anymore. We're not going to any convenience store. We headed straight home. I got sushi at home. There's water right there. On there.
Makes it easier for me to take that blow, or I can just show my disappointment without them even having to say it to me. So I lean over and see that. Obviously, I'm not going to show what that looks like. I feel like they'd probably get in trouble. I'd get in trouble if I did something like that. But green is good to go. It means you're great. And the other one is you're going to go back through. Now, if you're in uniform and you go do that, as you go through the blind, they'll let you bring your liquids and do all the stuff, and it moves real quick. And I just walk to the front of the line, usually because I'm trying to get to a plane or trying to get somewhere, and sometimes I'm on a tighter deadline. This is the reality. So I'll just walk to the front of the line, throw my bag through, and I watch some of the people go through the security line, and it's like they never saw it coming, and they're like, what? Bell? So I know exactly what will ding, what will not ding. I know how to just super efficiently do everything. So I'll just walk to the front of the line, and people just kind of let it slide. They think I'm probably flying them somewhere, which sometimes I am, but a lot of the time I'm not. So that's just what happens. But when Marsha approached this KCM desk, the counter in LAX said she was sent for additional security screening. So instead of going over here to this massive security line like she was asked to, where they definitely would have asked her, what is it that you have packed in this bag? Because it's clearly not clothes and normal things. What she did is ripped off her Gucci pumps, threw them on the ground, ran away barefoot, running up an escalator and outside. And remember Mr. Brown, the guy with no photo? Well, as soon as he found out, he also fled the country back to Jamaica, which is going to be relevant in just a few minutes here. Now, it makes sense to me that Marsha would have gotten away. You might be thinking, like, why didn't the police run and track her down? Well, the agents, as they're watching all this go on, they see this crew member, as they suspect, take off her shoes and then just run away. So they're like, what's going on? And obviously, the next thing you're going to be thinking if you're working at an airport in Los Angeles, of all places, is the bags are still here. Are those bombs? Are they trying to blow me up? So instead of the person running away, you're thinking this is a massive security issue of explosives. So the agent, understandably, doesn't go chase this track and field star, and then immediately gets the police over there, who now start to investigate this bag to find out if it's explosives. It wasn't explosives. This is what it looked like on the inside. It was 27 kilos, or almost 60 pounds of cocaine. And all the cocaine was labeled Big Ranch, which just goes to show you that branding is important, even in the cocaine business. And what she did next was even more wild than all the things that led up to this point. I honestly can't believe she had the stones to do this, but according to reports, the very next day she went back to the airport like nothing had happened.
Looking for her bag. I left the bag here.
Went through security with her crew and worked the flights back to JFK. Like, yeah, nothing to see here. I'm not that lady that you just saw yesterday run out of the airport that you also probably found my enormous bag full of cocaine. That wasn't me. I guess she was just in uniform and somehow they hadn't put all the puzzle pieces together yet, so she just worked the flight back to JFK. So I suspect what her plan was is on the layovers while she was there, she coordinated with Mr. Brown, and they would get the bags to her. She would go walk through security, drop the bags off on the other side, he'd go fly to where he wanted to go. And she would go back through, so she's not doing this with her crew, because it would look a little strange. Every crew member has a known amount of bags, so if you're doing like a 3 or 4 day trip and you showed up with 5 bags, people would be like, what are you doing? Right? So she would have her schedule ahead of time, she'd coordinate with him, grab the bags on the time off, on her layover time, go over there, walk the bags through security, drop them off to him, he'd go fly and do his thing in the East Coast. She'd go back to the hotel and then the next day work her trip out like nothing had ever happened. That, I think, was the overall plan and how they were moving everything through. But she was choosing to do it in civilian clothes instead of just putting her uniform on, which would have made it a lot less inconspicuous. Obviously, this all caught up to her, and she later had to turn herself in at JFK, and according to court documents, the minimum penalty for this is 10 years. And of course, the entire time I was putting this video together, I kept thinking, like, how much did she get paid for running all these drugs through these airports, and how long was this going on? Because I get it, you're only moving it like 500 feet, like from a car. I mean, that's a pretty heavy bag, to be honest with you, but from a car, and you're just walking it through security, getting on the other side of security, and just dropping it off with somebody, and then walking out of the airport like anybody else. And the security isn't going to pick up that strange movement because you're going through security, and now you're inside, and then you just walk out with a group of people. So it was a pretty simple transaction. So I was thinking, like, how much money was she making? And according to court records, she said I was paid, quote, thousands of dollars, which doesn't seem like a lot of money when you're thinking about you're getting a couple of pairs of Gucci shoes and you're risking your entire life and livelihood for a couple of $1,000. And when you have $3 million of cocaine in your bag, it just seemed like not a lot. And I'm a little bit suspicious of why they didn't get the exact dollar amount, but thousands of dollars is what she got told she was getting. And you remember Mr. Brown, the guy with no photo? Well, he decided to try to sneak back into our great nation using, again, a fake ID, and was picked up by police on a boat. I suspect Marcia, having grown up in a pretty decent family and having a pretty good life, was looking at the option of 10 years as an absolute minimum sentence of jail time, and just folded like a lawn chair when the police said, like, this is what your life's gonna be like, pageant beauty queen. You're gonna be here in jail for the next 10 to 20 years. Life's not gonna be so fun. Or do you want to just tell us all about Mr. Brown and all of his activities, which she probably then told him about all the fake IDs, which I found out was him stealing the identity of mentally disabled people. Pretty nice. And then so she would have told them all that because he probably bragged about it, and they would have had all the names. Well, not but several weeks after she got caught, he tried to sneak back in the country, I'm guessing with those same IDs. So it was probably flagged in the system. Not such a smart idea. After testifying against Brown, she was released shortly thereafter and didn't end up doing her entire sentence because of her cooperation with the prosecution. Brown, however, was sentenced to a minimum of 13 years in a penitentiary down in Florida. So he's still there, and she was already out. Said here she was using her degree and working on public health and healthcare leadership. I'm not sure really what that means, and I'm sure she has a record. You can't just go try to run 60 pounds of cocaine and not have that show up on your record. Yeah. This reminds me of a story when I was in a taxi talking with a guy who told me about the time in the 90s when he was a massive cocaine smuggler. I've had some weird stories. But I was talking to him and I thought it was so curious. So I was asking him as he was driving me around in a taxi, and he said, yeah, back in the day, because he was telling me some kind of lavish stories. It was a long ride to the airport, and he was telling me some kind of wild stories about different things that he had done. And I was thinking, like, he's like, I was at the World Series and I was over here at the World Cup, and I was thinking, how are you doing all of those things? Well, it turns out he was a massive cocaine smuggler. And I asked, well, so you lived that life, and you lived kind of a basic life, because I kind of got the impression when we were talking that I was living a pretty humble life at this point. I said, well, do you kind of miss that? Or like, he said, no, to be honest with you, every night I go to sleep and I don't have to worry about who's coming to get me, whether my friends are truly my friends, if the police are looking for me. I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. And all that, knowing everything I know now, and all the money, when I had all the money for all the cars and all the boats and all that, every night I went to sleep wondering, was somebody going to come to try to get me this night or the next day? And he said, the stress is unbelievable. You just can't imagine what that feels like. So I thought it was really humble for somebody to have that perspective and share it with me and be honest with me, because I'm sure he served a lot of time in jail for that. And to share that with me, a guy that's just riding around in his cab, I thought was pretty interesting. I thought it was amazing to have that humbleness to come back and just say, like, hey, I'm going to have a really simple life. Just an point. I look forward to hearing from you. Until then, keep the blue side up.
Keep the blue side up.
Dreaming of thrills? With Klook, there are no DIY disasters.
Sir, as we've said very often, economic security is national security, and our country has never been so secure thanks to you. You have brought us back from the edge. You have the overwhelming mandate from the American people. You're restoring confidence
sucking off
in
Trump.
Thank you, sir. As we approach Labor Day weekend here, this is just such a great opportunity, really, to recognize.
Look at them, they're all sucking off Trump, dude.
Mr. President, first of all, thank you for the opportunity to work for you. You made this country safe. You opened up the economy. You enforced the law. Now people can get up and provide for their families and go to work every day and be confident in that. Mr. President, I invite you to see your big, beautiful face on a banner in front of the Department of Labor, because you are really the transformational president of the American worker.
Thank you for saving college football, by the way. We're all very grateful.
You saved college football!
The country just feels different.
You weren't going to save whales on the East Coast because of this. Mr. President, working for this government, for you, is the greatest honor of my life. I tell it to everybody, and I really do feel that way, and I thank you. And there's only one thing I wish for, that Noble Committee finally gets its act together and realizes that you are the single finest candidate since the Nobel Peace, this Nobel Award was ever talked about, to receive
he
that
wants that Nobel Peace Prize.
It's pretty great to celebrate Labor Day with Builder, who loves labor, who loves the men and women who built this country, the people that sweat, that have great skills.
This is the greatest cabinet working for the greatest president, and I just want to say thank you. I'm having the time of my life working for you, Mr. President.
Time of my life.
The time of my life.
Time of my life.
Saying things that degrade me as a man. Really? It continues. This is like part two.
Come from the people who went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed the ring. From the fucking Joe and Mika, they went down and they kissed Trump's ring, and they have the fucking audacity to fucking act like they aren't part of the fucking sycophants, dude. I mean, come on.
A lot of the guys we just heard from there are these sort of self-described masters of the universe. Many of them in Wall Street, the MAGA ethos of masculinity, of being an alpha male, all that. You just don't find more beta behavior than we saw around the
beta. The beta men. All fucking beta. Dude. I mean, but the thing is Joe and Mika did the same fucking shit. And they're gonna sit there with fucking with a clean expression on their face, making fun of it. You motherfuckers did the same thing. Get the fuck out of here.
This is Democracy Now!, Democracy.
I love her.
The
She's
War and
great.
Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with
Amy Goodman, we love you.
The number. How much is Trump pocketing off the presidency? That's the headline of an exhaustive new investigation published by the New Yorker magazine. In the piece, journalist David Kirkpatrick writes, quote, many payments now flowing to Trump, his wife, and his children and their spouses would be unimaginable without his presidencies. A $2 billion investment from a fund controlled by the Saudi Crown Prince, a luxury jet from the Emir of Qatar, profits from at least 5 different ventures peddling crypto, fees from an exclusive club stocked with cabinet officials and named executive branch. In March, Forbes estimated that Trump's net worth had more than doubled over a year to $5 billion. And a few months later, the New York Times estimated Trump's wealth had grown to $10 billion. But these estimates and others did not attempt to look at how exactly his fortune is growing. David Kirkpatrick writes, quote, although the notion that Trump is making colossal sums off the presidency has become commonplace, nobody could tell me how much he's made. I decided to attempt to tally up just how much Trump and his immediate family have pocketed off his time in the White House, unquote. Well, David Kirkpatrick joins us now in our New York studio. Welcome to Democracy Now! It's great to have you with us. Explain how you arrived at the number and what is the period of time that he has made this money?
Well, what's important here is that I'm trying to be fair to the president. I'm not out to get Trump here. I went through and looked at all the sources of income, the income streams flowing into the Trump organization, the president and his family, and I asked, is this money that he would have made absent the presidency? Because he's got hotels, he's got golf courses. Sometimes people go there just to play golf or rent a hotel room. We're not talking about that. So I only wanted to look at money.
God damn it. What's up, Bruce? How you doing?
Conclusions.
And David, could you talk about some of the specifics from the small to the big? For instance, the ubiquitous MAGA hat at Trump rallies. How is Trump has a private store that sells these? Also, the family's investments in crypto.
Yeah, the hats. I was quite surprised to realize that in addition to the campaign merchandise sold by his campaign, which all candidates and all presidents do, that's money that goes into the campaign coffers that he can't really touch for personal purposes. The Trump organization also has its own online store, and they sell all kinds of Trump merchandise that looks very much like its campaign merchandise. But this money flows to Trump and himself. You know, $20, $40 for a pair of flip-flops, a pair of beer koozies.
Smart Trumpy.
He's making, you know, millions of dollars. You know, I don't know, forget what the exact number was, but $20 million over the last few years selling this kind of merchandise, which is arguably competing with his own campaign and diverting some of the money that his supporters might think is supporting the MAGA movement and his candidates to his own pocket. That's the small end. Nobody thinks that anybody who's paying $50 for a baseball hat is actually going to get any influence, you know, over the president in return for that. That's just a way of making money. On the other extreme, there's significant amounts of money flowing into the Trump organization now through its various, or the president's various crypto enterprises. Some of these, you know, predate his return to the White House, but I tried to look here at the, you know, all the money that he made off of the White House over the course of the 2 terms and the time in between when he remained a kind of kingmaker in the Republican Party. So, and most of it has happened around his second term, you know, shortly before through his second term. In terms of crypto, you know, should I go through and break down all the ways they're making money off of crypto?
Yes.
Okay, well, here you go. So first of all, for people who might not be familiar with crypto, all it is really is a kind of online ledger or spreadsheet keeping track of who owns what. there's a number of ways that the Trump family has tried to take advantage of this new technology. He started out by selling NFTs, non-fungible tokens, which are basically sort of digital cartoons of himself. Then he moved on to setting up a company. His family, his son set up a company called World Liberty Financial, and that's done a couple things. It sold a kind of token or online certificate that would ostensibly allow somebody to vote on whatever its futures plans in the crypto business might be. They raised, $550 million selling those tokens, and 75% of that flows to the Trump organization. Then it went into a new business selling what's known as a stable coin. A stable coin is basically the online equivalent of $1. It's not really an investment, it's just a kind of like almost a checking account. It's a way to transfer money here and there, perhaps more efficiently by doing it digitally. For the company, World Liberty Financial, they get to make money off of investing that money in treasuries while it's out in the world circulating as a stablecoin. So they go into the stablecoin business. Their first customer is a company owned by the United Arab Emirates that puts up $2 billion to buy a stablecoin. While that money is out circulating as stablecoin, they're going to get about 4% a year on that, I calculate, by investing in a short-term treasury. So that's a couple. There's a few others he's gone into. His meme coin is perhaps the most famous. The President Trump, right around the time he was elected, before he was inaugurated, went into this business selling a kind of online novelty, basically just a joke. It's a kind of digital certificate that just allows you to say, I paid money to own a little Trump novelty. That's it. That's all it is. There's nothing to it. And it doesn't even purport to sort of hold wealth, although you can trade it back and forth. He's made about $300 million selling those meme coins. And the last thing is a little bit of kind of a financial engineering that his company, Trump Media and Technology Group, a publicly traded company of which he's the chairman, a little bit of financial engineering that company has done. Now, that is the company that owns Truth Social. Truth Social is a very small online, platform, social media platform. It doesn't have much revenue, maybe $1 million a quarter. It's never really made a profit. It doesn't have much chance of ever making a profit. And yet the stock that owns it, Trump Media and Technology Group, trades at a kind of surprisingly high price. And people on Wall Street consider it a meme stock. It trades basically on how people feel about President Trump. And in the last couple months, really in June, that company has done a remarkable thing, which is they've issued new shares of stock. They've sold the stock at their inflated meme coin price, and they've taken that money and they've bought Bitcoin. They've also done the same thing to try to stockpile some cash, but they bought about $2.3 or $2.4 billion worth of Bitcoin, and they've stockpiled about $760 worth of cash. So in the end of the last quarter, they said, look, we've got $3.1 billion of liquid assets on our books. So I calculate that since President Trump owns 42% of that company, he has an ownership interest in that $3.1 billion. So as I was doing this months there, my calculation of their net worth, of his net worth, by, I shouldn't say his net worth, of the amount of money he's made off the presidency, jumped up by $1 billion.
Other members of the family, for instance, Jared Kushner and his daughter, in terms of the investments by foreign governments.
Power off.
All right, let's go. Oh shit! My phone's gonna. I don't have a charger in here. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow will be another day. Hopefully, get I think the bot went to sleep on us, or something happened to it. But anyway, it was fun. Thank you, Linda, for hanging out. Thank you, Bruce, for hanging in. And have a great day. All right, guys. Take care.